And hello everyone and welcome to A Clash of Queens, where we answer your best and worst A Song of Ice and Fire questions. Today we will discuss Jon's future, Craster and the others, the Stallion who mounts the world, Arya's return to Westeros, and, of course, food. My name is Anne. You may also know me as Sweet YFT. And now it's time for my gorgeous co-hosts to introduce themselves. And maybe we could start with the new girl, Nicolina.
Hello, everyone. Hi from Germany. Some of you probably know me from discussions I did with James Johnson during the season 5. Also, I was a guest on Tony Teflon's channel last night. And also I have my own channel that's called Tina Foyle on YouTube, so make sure to check that if you need more The Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones, things to watch. And I'm really glad that I'm now officially part of the Queens. So thank you, Anne, thank you, T-Baby and Tinker for inviting me, and I'm really, really glad to be here.
I'm so glad we have you here. Thank you for saying the vows and becoming an official member of the Hype Swatch. Tinker, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello. I'm very glad that you're becoming part of the Queens. So it's very exciting to have one new member today. I am Yasone. You might know me as Tinker Jasso. I'm on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook also as Tinker Jasso. I do Game of Thrones videos, but I also do tons of other stuff like comic book and Star Wars, especially now Star Wars now that it's getting so close. So I'm really excited about this video, although my head's a bit divided because I've got other stuff going on today, but I'm really excited to be here, and there's some very nice questions.
Definitely. Maybe T-Baby, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so hey guys, once again I'm excited to talk to these lovely ladies about the questions you guys sent us. It's going to be fun. I'm with Tinker, my head's all over the place today, but we are going to rock it out and have some fun. So yeah, thanks for I'm just glad to talk to you ladies, as it's always going to be fun, so regardless.
Oh, thank you. So yes, now we are officially 4 queens. So we are going to need to update our logos. If any of you guys out there, have any artistic talents untapped and discovered and would like to help us out with that, that would make us so happy to have a brand new 4 Queen's logo. And yeah, if any of you want to help us out with that, that would be wonderful. Just please let us know. A couple of announcements before we get started, and there will be more at the end. First of all, thank you to all of you who submitted some questions, and please continue to do so. As always, you can reach us almost on all social medias, and as always, also all the links are in the description box. You can send us your questions at any time on any of them, and if you want to make sure that we know it's for that show, just use the hashtag ACOQ, A Clash of Queens. At 7 p.m. tonight, don't miss The Rise of Sam the Slayer Part 2. That's on JD the Dragon's channel, and the link is also in the description box. So The Rise of Sam the Slayer is the man of our group analyzing Sam's narrative arc going from Craven to hero. And finally, in case you did not know, we created a YouTube channel for the group, hoping to put more and more and more of the group's content on it. Starting next episode, A Clash of Queens is going to be hosted on the group's channel, and episodes 1 and 2 were or will be uploaded on it as well. And the guys are starting next Friday their own concurring show called A Feast for Bros. You might have seen the link around Google Plus today. More on that after the video. So please, please, please subscribe to the Hype Swatch channel and tell your friend and make that happen. That will help us so much. And a big shout out to you, the lovely people who have already subscribed. So Thunderclap, Money G, 1998 Champions, Eric Elgrinch, Claire Springer, Chad Cavett, Ellen Venderson, and Christina Turner. I'm very sorry some of you subscribed today and it hasn't appeared on the channel page. Thank you also to you too. Whew, whew. That was me talking a lot. Enough rambling. T-Baby, why don't you start us off with the first question?
All right. Can I just give a shout out to someone before we start?
Oh, of course. I thought you did, yeah.
So I want to give a shout out to Ingrid and Tihana in London. Hi, girls. Also Patrick in Innsbruck, if you're watching. Zoran in Croatia, and Jonico in San Diego. Hi, guys. Thank you for watching. I'm done. So, T-Baby, can we read the questions now?
Yeah, I love Nico. All right, so this one's from Leila J Lovan. Excuse me if I mispronounce your name. It says, I have been waiting for someone to mention how Jon may not come back as a good guy. Everyone is saying the Red Witch will bring him back, but I always felt as he was closer connection to the Ice Whites. What do you guys think about him becoming the next Night King? So I think I read this question wrong the first time, and I focused way more on who he might become instead of focusing on if he would be the next Night King. And as far as him becoming the next Night King, I don't see it. I think they have some type of order of how they select him or something like that. Like the first time it was a Stark that declared himself Night King, but it was through talking to an other. So I don't know if him being resurrected would be the reason why he would become a Night King, but he could be. I just don't think it would be because he's been resurrected. Now, will he become a bad guy or a good guy? Now, that's a different story because there's different variables of how I thought about this question. And it was, one, how did Kat come back when she was resurrected? Because when you think about it, you have to think, how long will he be dead? How long will he be in Ghost? Remember, Jojen, I think in A Clash of Kings, said that, you can't stay in your wolf for a long time. You'll lose yourself. So you got two different variables where he could become more like Ghost because he's in Ghost for too long, which is a good thing. That, to me, would be that he would become more wiser because I think Ghost is smarter than Jon in ways. But then again, if you think about it on the red side, bringing him back, then you got to think, well, the state of how he died and how long he would be dead, would that play a factor into him changing into someone else? I don't think Jon's going to come back the same person. I think once you probably check out into the afterlife, like, I forget his name, the brother without manhood, he says, a little piece of him, it's like a little piece of him chips away. He's not the same man. So Jon can't possibly be the same person. I think he's going to be a little bit more stern, but I don't think he's going to be necessarily a bad guy, but he might end up being more like Stannis, where he's a little bit more direct and, he's not playing friendly to everyone. Mm-hmm. What do you guys have to say?
May I say something?
Yes, of course.
So, we need to look at these books in general. When we see that each character has some event after which he realizes some things, or he has the epiphany, or changes as a person, in a way, becoming a better person or not that good person, but we definitely see some changes. So this event in Jon's life, or whatever his lifespan, is gonna mean something if he is brought back, which we know is gonna happen definitely. So what kind of change it is gonna be for us as readers or viewers, or for people in Westeros? Maybe we will have different points of view. I mean, definitely, like how he's gonna react, how people are gonna react to that. Maybe they will not like it, but we will like it as readers. So there's two different points. Also, when you think about, like, John's first part of life was always connected to ice. So he was in the north. Then he was sent to the wall, and he went beyond the wall. Had all these things happen, but now he's going to be brought back to life. Probably, I mean, that's almost a given by Melissandre, who's really into fire, right? So R'hllor, and he's a god of fire. Plus, we know that Jon is up because R plus L equals J is it's a fact. Now we can see that maybe he will not be in a White Walkers ice thing related now in this second part of his life, but maybe his Targaryen blood is gonna probably take the course of the events that are going to happen. So maybe we can think about it in that way. If it's good, that only depends on if you like Targaryens. If my theory is right, maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe he will take the Stark side more than Targaryen side. But if you think the Starks are good, or if you think the people in the North, or everything that's related to ice parts of the story is good, then you're fine. If he takes the course of Targaryens, which I don't think they're good in general. I mean, they're conquerors, they're killing people, having these dragons or whatever. So, but some people might like. I know that Charlie, who's watching us now, is probably gonna like the whole idea. So I think that sums up the question. It's a really hard question, and I'm glad that it was asked, but it's hard to answer that.
Well, I originally understood the question as if we thought that he would turn like evil, like one of the others, like he would come back like almost more like others and start attacking like the humans, like become. Which I don't believe it's possible because, as you said, if he's going to become brought back by Melissandre, it's going to be through fire. And the others are all related to cold and to ice and to not having heat. And the Night's King became the Night's King when he married the Night's Queen, and she was cold as ice. She was another. It's never said in old Nan stories, but they say that her skin was white, her eyes were blue, and that she was cold as ice. So if he's brought by fire, I doubt that he's gonna be all cold and frozen. I do believe that, as you say, there's gonna be a big change because whenever something happens to a character in Game of Thrones, they always but it's also true in real life. When someone goes through someone life-changing, you're not the same person. And I actually think that he's not going to turn bad, or not bad because of my perspective. I think that he is going to... I think that Jon has been like overshadowed by everything that, he's being a bastard. Everyone has always looked down on him. He's been confident even as a commander of the Night's Watch, but it's always there, that bitterness, that disrespect that people have towards him. And I think he's gonna come back. That's always on someone. No matter what, he always thinks like slowly less of himself. Because when people have been telling you all the time that you're crap, that you're a bastard, that you're worth nothing, it just doesn't go away. And I think that it's just he's gonna come back with a completely different perspective. I think that he's gonna see something, and I think he's gonna come back saying, I was dead. It's just those things don't matter anymore. I think it's actually come more wild, not only because of like the Targaryen blood. That how Targaryens tend to be like, they go from anger to rage. How Targaryens can be a bit bipolar. But Starks have also proven to be not so stable. Brandon Stark, he went to King's Landing screaming for Rhaegar's head with a mad king. That's not exactly stable either. Lyanna was said to have like a wild side to her. And the wolves, I think that Ghost is more smart for him because wolves are just about instinct. They don't let the crazy bullshit that people have in their heads that keep telling them, oh no, you're bad, or no, you have to. They don't have that. So they're just more instinct. So if he doesn't go into Ghost, maybe that will affect him. Maybe he'll be more in tune with the animal side, more instinct, more more fire, none of that bullshit. So I'm actually really looking forward to it because I think it's going to be a good change for Jon. Jon has always been very cold, very controlled, mainly because he couldn't just mouth off and be bad because of all that bastard thing that was always over his head. So I don't think he's going to turn bad. I don't think he's going to have nothing to do with the Night King or the others, and I think he's going to turn badass. I'm a Jon fan, but that whole pouty thing sometimes drove me nuts, and I think that's going to go away. So I want him to come back soon, in like the first chapter, not like the bloody end.
Oh, I want a little bit of. Oh, I'm sorry, Tinker. I thought you were done. Finish.
No, I'm done. I'm done with my rant.
No, I think I want a little bit of Jon in Ghost. First of all, yeah, I totally agree with you. Like and with all of you ladies, like we have a couple of factors to take into consideration. Tinker, as you said, there's Jon is one of the good guys. Jon is one of the best guys, but he still has some flaws. Yes, he has some bitterness, resentment. He can be prone to anger, although he never acts on it because, of his status as a bastard and the fact that he doesn't allow himself to fully follow his emotion. Is very, very introverted. But yes. So there's that. There's those flaws that are inside of him that is kept under control thus far, but that could explode. And then, as T Baby and Nicolina said, there's the changes that he will experience by his time spent in Ghost and also by his resurrection. All of that. And then there are a bunch of factors like what is he like. I think one of the big factor is his heritage. Will he when will he learn it? And that could, like, depending on that, it could really make him act in different way. I think the as always with George, it's not really the interesting thing in his writing. It's not going to be about Jon turning bad, but it's going to be about Jon having the possibility to turn bad. It's the temptation that he's going to work on and write on. So I think at some point, yes, he might get a little bit on the darker side. The way my fav was a sweetheart like Bran, he does some pretty questionable things. He doesn't think it's bad, but it's not good either. And at some point, he's going to have to like really make a moral stand. Jon being a lot older is going to be a lot less subtle than with Bran. So I think he's going to be confronted with the dark force and try to mingle with it. And he's going to have that like temptation, like, do I stay on the good side of the force or do I embrace the dark side of the force? Yeah. I'm sorry, Tinker, if I make like really bad Star Wars analogy because I don't know anything about Star Wars. Feel free to stop me. But yeah, I feel his arc is sort of going there, like some sort of good side, dark side of the Force moment is going to happen to him in the Winds of Winter, and that's going to be the interesting part in his arc.
So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You go to baby.
Okay, so I guess I have a quick question to throw at you guys. So do you think, even though it's the fire that they're using fire magic to bring him back, do you think also, let me ask this question, how long do you think Jon will be dead? Because I think that also plays a major factor either way he goes. Because if you, like I said, if you stay in Ghost for too long, that could pose a problem to change him. But then again, we saw that they didn't want to bring Kat back because she was dead for so long. So how long do you guys think Jon will be dead before something happens where he's alive again?
I don't think for long, because what would be the circumstance that they would want to bring him back? Like, what would they, like, bury him and then Melissandre suddenly says, oh no, we have to bring him back, and then they unbury him? Or my guess is that someone is just going to find his body, or the wildlings are going to go and just some sort of fight is going to go on, and Melissandre is going to say, this cannot happen, and bring him back. My guess is that we're going to have a few chapters of him as Ghost, before, because we know that he manages time in however the hell he pleases in the books. Some episodes can go from 1 month to another, and then some before he does whatever he wants with time. But I think that when it comes to actual time for his body, it's not going to be very long. But that depends. But when we get it in the book, that's a completely different story.
Yeah, but okay. Let's say we only have 2 books left. That's also a factor. If he decides that we need 4 more books, then it changes. But okay, we need the conflict to happen in the next book for it to be a resolution in the final book, and the consequences of the resolution, which is always I don't think we'll have like a book of battle. That's not Martin's style. He will much rather focus on the consequences of the fight than the fight itself. So for what we said about his arc to happen, like he needs to make a choice before the conflict happens. That needs to happen pretty much before the end of the Winds of Winter, don't you think? So I would say halfway through the book he could come back.
Sorry, I was answering somebody on Facebook because they just had R plus L equals J moment. They did not know about that. So it was...
all my thoughts and all my love goes to that person. It's the first time is always
the first time. Yes.
Yeah, in our comments, Iron Throne, he was saying, I know in a bad, kidding way, that knowing George R. R. Martin, he may return in Wind's epilogue for 2 pages in someone else's POV. So yeah, no, that would be wrong, Iron Throne, and
that would be kind of wrong.
Yeah, he likes to toy with our emotions, but he likes to make it in a manner that makes like literal. I know you're kidding. I'm just I know you're kidding with your comment, but yeah, he does it in a way that makes literary sense. And unless if he writes, we have 5 more books to come, why not? But if we only have 2 more books to come, that does not leave him time to really work and write and explore what he likes to talk about, the consequences of your choices, of your actions.
I think it's going to be towards the beginning, like not on like the first 5 chapters, but before we get to the middle of the book, like 1/4 of the book.
I'm gonna answer that. So it depends on in the show, it's gonna happen in the first few episodes. We're gonna have him dead for a bit, and then they're gonna have to deal with it. And Mel is gonna. I don't know how she's gonna get how to do and how to perform magic because she never did it before. But she's gonna have some help from beyond the wall, I guess, if you know what I'm saying.
But Mir didn't know either. The first time he did it was completely by accident.
Yeah, I agree. But in the books, well, it needs to happen in the Winds. Definitely, but where in which chapter, it depends on how they sort the chapters and how it's. I don't know what else is gonna be included in the Winds of Winter, if you know what I'm saying. So where exactly? This is just prophecy at this point, which is not gonna be true anyway.
No, definitely. But I think we know all of the spoilers chapters. Most of them are revolving around the Battle of Ice and the Battle of Fire that was supposed to be included in A Dance with Dragons. So I think that the early chapters, there's going to be a big focus on those battles. And we're also probably going to get some news from King's Landing, some news from the Riverland, because we left on that huge cliffhanger. So we might have something about that. And so that's why I'm saying, that's why I base my guess of midway through the book, because I think we need to have a sense that time has passed before he's resurrected in the books. In the show is stupid and the show focuses on action a lot more than on consequences, and the books. So.
And also, to be fair, they only have 10 episodes. There are certain things that they're just limited by the format.
Oh yeah.
But I wouldn't watch the show if it was exactly as in the books, because you have a lot of internal monologue. You cannot put that on screen, so
No,
it's
definitely.
understandable. Yeah, yeah. Can I go back to some things that were said, if you don't mind?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Nicolina.
I want to go back to some things that we said about John, like being good or evil or whatever. So first of all, I really liked T Baby's point on how long is he gonna stay in the ghost. It's gonna affect on how wild is he gonna be, how beastly, because we will see some changes. We all agreed on that. It's definite, but he definitely needs to man up. Like when Maester Aemon told him, "Kill the boy, John. Kill the boy." That's exactly what is meant. So leave all your shit behind, like your teenage crap. You need to man up now. So how much of the man is, so the quantity of the man that is gonna exactly depend on how much time he spends in the ghost, probably, because why did we have the whole Vermeer chapter in Dance explaining that? Other thing that was said by Tinker, which is really nice, but about his bastard problems. Bastard problems, that sounds like first world problems. So you have to remember that one of the first things that was said to Jon in Game of Thrones was by Tyrion, wear it as an armor. Like I'm a bastard too in my father's eyes. So he should have probably get rid of that problem. Like just okay, live with it. You're a bastard. So what? The whole point of the books is also so we see that we should not hate people because of their, I don't know, they were born out of the not even incest. I mean, you cannot blame that. You cannot hate Marcella because it's not her fault anyway.
Or
we have to know that Martin is manipulating us. We, like, a lot of people keep forgetting that. Like, he wrote books exactly the way he wanted, so we would hate some characters and love some characters, and then he sneakily writes through the chapters, so you have to catch it that, okay, some guys are not that bad. That's the whole the idea of the books. So you see that there are many dimensions to characters. So this being said, we cannot say that White Walkers or the others are evil. We don't know shit about them. We miss that whole part of information about who they are, where are they coming from, like from Lands of Always Winter or whatever the hell. They never spoke anything. They never said anything. So we cannot assume that they're evil. Okay, they're just killing people, but I mean, even people are killing people in Westeros. So you can say that people are evil, definitely. So if Jon is more like people, then it's evil, if you understand what I'm saying. So we have to be careful. You cannot say that, oh, if he's White Walker becomes like Night's King or something, he's going to be evil. No, it doesn't mean anything. And if he comes back as a wild Stark, is that a good thing? Do you want a ruler who's pretty wild and he acts like a monster, like a beast? I don't think so. So be really careful about what you're saying.
Well, he doesn't have to be like completely like the wild Stark, but just have a bit more of that.
Yeah.
And intermediate, not the cold Stark, but not the other one. Like a bit of intermediate. Well, we've seen in the show and in the books that the extremes never go well.
Yeah.
Never do any good to anyone.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree. I'm sorry. Ladies, just if I don't reply like right away to something you're telling me, is that I think I have terrible connection, might be linked to what happened. So sometimes I can like barely hear you. You're very like fractured, so I might have to ask you to repeat things. I'm very sorry. And people watching us, if you think like, just let it, there's not much I can do, but if there's audio or video quality problem, please let us know. And yeah, so Nico, yes, I agree that we don't know at all. Like I don't think the others are quote unquote evil just because George always said did not want to write a evil Tolkien-style villain. But I think that in John's arc, it's very important that he explores I know it sounds silly, but like his humanity, and that if he we can all agree that the others are not humans, not fully humans. So I think if he through some sort of magic, he turned into another, that would, I mean, for me, it would take a little bit of the interest of his arc. But maybe the idea of the temptation to do so would be interesting.
Tempted by the dark side.
Yeah. Do we have anything else to say about that first question before we move on?
I don't know. Do people in the comments have something to add to this? Maybe we can discuss more. They're talking about everything else, I guess.
Well, if you have something, we can always go back to that.
Yes. Sure, you're right.
Because, talking about the others, that's a good transition for our second question that was submitted to us by Jerry the Targaryen Steamboat, T-Baby's favorite member of the Hives Watch. And so his question was, how did Craster know how to make the deal with the others? Is he a more learned man than he is given credit for? And as information on the others, did he invite them in for soup and tea and negotiate a contract? What do you think?
I've got to say, I kind of love that image that she put, Craster inviting the others for tea and just writing a contract.
Yes.
That image was just gold.
Oh, yeah, it's wonderful. I'd love to draw that.
You think that others hold their cup with the pinky out? So polite, like. Good question. It's a really good question, or hard question, obviously.
Yes, but yeah, I agree. The others are obviously British royal family. If you reread their arc through that lens, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I know that Anne has prepared really good. The answer is. Yep.
I did not say really good. I said very long, which might not be good at all. But if one of you ladies want to start,
let me just throw mine out there because mine is not that extensive at all. I don't know if they just chose him, or because the way that the Night King, he just saw but he saw the Ice Queen by herself and just felt compelled to go to her because they don't speak English. They don't speak the native tongue of any human. They're the old tongue, so it's not like there can be a dialogue to say, "Hey, can I have your babies?" Like, there's no way.
Do you know that?
We don't know anything.
For certain?
We don't know anything. We just know based off of the books, but the books never say that they speak a native tongue. We've never seen them. They crackle. So I don't know if it's. I don't know how they broke down some type of language to. Well, I mean, even I don't know how they. I don't think that they sat down and had tea, of course, but I don't know if he was just. The books never say that they can speak to humans, so it's kind of a weird. It's one of those questions where it could be anything. But if I find it hard that they spoke to him and say, "Hey, let's make a deal," when he's never shown in the books that they speak to anyone. And if you go back to Craster, it's like a short thing of Craster and his sons, maybe a few sentences. So everything is going to be speculation.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, we do know a tiny bit. In the episode of Jon when she's in Craster, Gilly talks to Jon and tells him that it wasn't only boys that he gave him, but also sheep and other kinds of stuff. So my theory, because really we're just theorizing because we have absolutely no idea, there's not enough information, it's that we know from Old Nan's story of the Night King and that moment when Jon is with Craster, we know very little else. And it says that the Night King would give the other sacrifices. It's very possible that his wife might have told him, because she was one of the others, that they might need boys. We already talked in one of the videos that that's where the others come from, that they breed from the boys, or That's what we're guessing. But sacrificing to religion is something that has happened even in our world in ancient times. The sacrifices were given to the gods as a way of appeasing them, and the others can be seen as gods, as the cold gods. That's how the Craster's wives calls them. So Craster didn't want any other boys, didn't want any other men to be there as a competition. The women are very useful for him. So and that's how. Well, they don't really write things the world. They don't have libraries and books and maesters. They have songs and stories that they pass on. That's how, even in ancient times, that's how they passed on knowledge and stuff like that, through songs and through stories. The story of the Night King is known. That's how Old Noun told Bran. That's how we know of it. So I believe that it's just something very basic, something very, ancient. It was a story that was passed on when things started getting cold. It was a story they knew. The wildlands are on the other side of the wall. They're much closer. They're there with the others. So it's always been there. Arya says, they were not gone, just to sleep. So it's been in their conscience. So I believe that the stories were passed, and when things started going bad and dirty, he said, okay, a sacrifice to the gods. He wanted the girls, he didn't want the boys, so give the boys or give the sheep or the sheep. That's what he was giving him. And I think that's as simple as that. It was just, Craster is a very basic man. There's nothing very terribly intellectual about him or anything. So I think that it's just very simple. There's people out there that are dangerous. Give them something that they might want, a sacrifice, whatever, appease them, leave me in peace. That's how it was understood.
He could have, sacrificed because he heard these stories, but I don't think, he had a conversation with them, is what I'm saying. I definitely agree that now that's a possibility. He's heard these stories, and he's offering up anything because that's natural for them to offer things to the gods in this world. So that makes sense to me. So maybe he was offering anything, and then finally he was like, the ultimate would be your son. From a male in Westeros, your seed is the son, because that's what carries on your name. So maybe that was the ultimate sacrifice for them to leave him alone. That could be a possibility.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, I have a very, very long answer. Bear with me. Can I go?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, so Craster is a very intriguing character to me, although we only meet him twice. Once in A Clash of Kings, as you said, Tinker, in John 3, and then in A Storm of Swords, Samuel 2. That's when the mutiny happens. Okay, so my best guess on how the information come, I agree with T-Baby. I mean, they could potentially speak the old tongue, the way the children of the forest, they have their own language, but they can also speak the language of man. But that's pure speculation because we have no proof of that. So, okay, my best guess is that it could be because of his childhood with his mother in White Tree. So just to look back a little bit to his origin. So we hear a little bit about Craster's origin story from Ygritte in A Storm of Swords after we meet him in A Clash of Kings. So she says, Craster's more European than ours. His father was a crow who stole a woman out of White Tree Village, but after he had her, he flew back his wall. She went I cannot do. I'm sorry, I cannot do wildling accents. She went to Castle Black once to show the crow his son, but the brothers blew their horn and ran her off. And okay, so when I read that, it rang the bell in my mind. In fact, that it's really, really similar to Roos's fishy story about Ramsay's birth, except for the conclusion, that it ends well for Ramsay, but not really for Craster. Although, so with Roose, meeting that washerwoman was and like stealing her for on the first night, and then her coming to um, oh my God, I forgot the Bolton's castle, the Dreadfort. Yes, thank you. Going to the Dreadfort to ask for him to take care, like give her something. Like those are both like very similar and very uncanny stories. Why would Craster's mother go to the wall? Like maybe I mean, if she really did not want the baby, she could abandon him. But what could she, like, wildlings hate the crows, first of all, and second of all, like, what could she expect from someone in the Night's Watch? They don't have any possession that they could give her. Even if the father agreed, he has nothing to give her, because they forget their earthly possession. So to continue on Craster and Ramsay a little bit, they also have some physical and moral similarities. Craster was a thick man. He had a broad nose. I'm just taking pieces of quotes. Then Diane said Craster was a kingslayer. So thick. I think Ramsay's called Big Bone. The broad flat nose, they both have it. Diane says about Craster that he's a kingslayer, liar, raper, craven. Sounds like Ramsay killed Domeric. He lies all the time. He rapes women. And I think, I don't know, I'm not sure about craven, but I think there's a reference about that at some point. Maybe when he's Rick, I'm not sure. Then he also said, someone else says about Craster, the man's half mad, and Ramsay's being qualified of mad very often. And finally, their biggest resemblance, they're nasty, nasty bastards, and with bad, accursed blood. Okay, just so the reason I'm bringing that up, which I know is weird and lengthy, is because of a theory I kind of subscribe to that Ramsay's mother might have had some kind of magical power. I won't go as far as believing, as some do, that she was a magical creature, but I've read some essays comparing her with the fairies. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, of Celtic folklore, and there are some interesting points there. It might be a little bit far-fetched, but what I'm trying to do is to draw a parallel here. Like, we know what Ramsay has in common with Ruth is its eyes. That's the thing. So I believe he does take a lot from his mother, because otherwise they're pretty dissimilar. And seeing all those similarities between Ramsay and Craster, I'm going to make the assumption that those traits they have in common, they come from their mother, so that their mother might have some traits in common, thus magical abilities of some kind. I know, very far-fetched, and I don't have a lot of argument to go with it. It's more of a gut feeling, but that was my reasoning, that it's possible that she was that Craster's mom was some sort of woods witch, and so that she could have some sort of special knowledge. And okay, one of the reasons why I believe her mother might have had some importance, so maybe because she was a wood witch in Whitetree, is that Craster is doing pretty well for himself, considering he's a bastard born of a crow. You know, like two things that like they should both be half-starved, almost like dead at that point. But still, he managed to build his keep for himself with his daughter wives, and he's left relatively unharmed by the other wildlings, who neither steal his wife, which is customary in wildling culture, nor his food. He even gets Mormon to calling him even likes to call himself Lord. And another character that we could draw a parallel with here is Varamir. When in the prologue, was a little bit of a similar situation, but he could do what he wanted, but that's because he was being feared for his warging abilities, like some sort of special power. So we don't hear of Craster being a skin changer in the books, but I think in the show he recognizes Jon as being one, so I'm not quite sure, but I think there is something special about him. a quote from the prologue of Storm of Swords. He had liked the look of Craster keep himself. Craster lived high as a lord there, so why shouldn't he do the same? So even a guy from the Night's Watch he envies Craster's lifestyle, which he shouldn't have, considering he's a bastard born of a crow. So how did he get it? Now that I've established, I hope, that Craster is a pretty unique character, let's look at where he grew up. White Tree. There's something very weird going on with the weirwood tree in White Tree. I'm 100% convinced that the charred bone in the mouth of the tree are a sign that they practice some kind of blood sacrifice there. Really, really sure. They wouldn't put so much emphasis on it otherwise. And why would they put, I mean, yeah, they burn their dead, but why would they put the bones of the dead in the tree? But so a quick quote from John, A Clash of Kings. The size did not disturb him as much as the face, the mouth especially, no simple carved slash, but a jagged hollow large enough to swallow a sheep. Those are not sheep bones though, nor is that sheep skull in the ashes. So obviously we're supposed to assume they are human skulls. So that's probably where Craster first got the idea to make some sacrifice to the gods. I'm not sure whether he put a twist on it, meaning in White Tree they sacrifice to the old gods, or if it's a common practice to actually also make some sacrifice to the cold gods. Obviously, as Tinker has said before, it could only be him camouflaging his desire to get rid of his sons for his own comfort, making it a religious act. Why I'm not sure that's the case. Well, he does call himself a godly man, but maybe he could be hypocritical about it. However, the fact that he's refused to leave the keep for the relative protection of the army makes me think that he truly believes that he is safe and protected by the gods thanks to his sacrifices. And that's also why when he doesn't have any son to give, then he will make the offering of a pig or a sheep. That must be extremely precious property for him. Like that's his dragon eggs, pretty much. So I don't think he would do that just, to pretend. To sum it up, I believe he's sort of doing what he's doing because of common practice of blood sacrifice in White Tree and a secret knowledge that his mother, being a wood witch or someone with special abilities, passed on to him. Sorry, I hope you're still there. I hope you're still. Thank you for being patient.
Hey, it was very good. I refuse to admit that Ramsay or Craster might have magical mothers, but that's simply because I absolutely hate them. And I love magic and people, fairies, and everything that has to do. So that's me being biased.
Oh, it's okay. We like you biased. That's why we love you. Nicolina.
Yes.
We haven't heard you that much.
Before you said it, I had this White Tree thing written in my notes. So first of all, I'm gonna go back to what Tea Baby said and Tinker about talking about the others. How are they talking? Are they speaking to have fun? Considering that all that we know about them so far, and that's very little, but you can get some conclusions out of it. Well, first of all, we can say that they are more developed race. They are more powerful than humans, definitely. They are half magical. They're artists. They're referred to as artists, in a way when they're sorting these body parts in like a spiral galaxy shape. It's really nice. Okay, it's human, but you know what I'm saying. It's a really nice shape, obviously. So therefore, they are referred to as gods by Craster because they are at the higher developmental or a more advanced stage than regular humans. We see that in our world too, like back in the day, some women or men were referred to as witches or warlocks only because they had a little bit more knowledge about things than regular people, right?
Yeah, like healing.
You
healing and herbs and stuff.
Yeah, but you only see that humans. Have you seen what happened yesterday in Paris? We are also. You cannot say that others are evil because they're killing, because we're doing the same thing. It also goes for Westeros. Yeah, if you know what I'm saying. So
The Valyrians are a very good example. Look what the Valyrians did.
yeah,
Everyone.
yeah. Of course. So we can assume that they have some form of communication, some language. The only thing that refers to any sounds to them is the crackling sound, but that's more of their ice structure, body structure or something. It's not a sound coming from their mouths. Although in the show, if I remember correctly, the first thing that happened, the first scene in the Game of Thrones season 1, episode 1, when we have the, what's it called, the guy when they killed the Rangers, the guy, the White Walker or the other, is holding the head and he screams, right? We have that, if I remember correctly. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody needs to correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, let me check
But
it out.
anyways, sorry, what?
I'm gonna check it out.
Okay, please. Thank you. So we can assume that there was some form of communication because there had to be a certain event back in Craster's past where he had the confrontation with other. So he had to offer something, or I don't know, something happened. We don't know what happened, but we can assume he had a confrontation with other walker or whatever. So he needed to find a way to survive. So I don't know how it happened. He offered a child. But I'm more on the bandwagon what Anne said, because it's amazing what she said. You have to go back and to look at who Craster is, who were his parents. When you see, you hear, and you get to know that his mother comes from White Tree. For those of you watchers who don't know what the White Tree is, it's a village north of the wall. It's a really small village, but what's really important about it is that it has this really, really giant weirwood tree. It's the biggest tree that Jon Snow ever saw, and he grew up in the north. That big tree is monstrous looking. It has such a big mouth opening that you can fit sheep in it, as Jon said. Of course, we know from the show and from the books that the weirwood trees are, in a way, the sanctuary where you pray to the old gods. And we know that this old gods, this religion, is always connected to sacrifices. So you have to give a sacrifice to the old gods. Before that, before the events that happened in the Game of Thrones, it was blood sacrifices all the time. So you would have to kill somebody next to the tree. Now, of course, any kind of sacrifices you can, because we hear from the Craster is giving sheep to the others, or some other what else, some pigs or something, right? So it's also animals, and sacrifices in form of kill a goat or something. Excuse me. So we can say that he knew about it, that there's a way to survive in that fucking place north of the wall, and he just started, okay, I'm gonna give you a sheep, I'm gonna give you my son. Why not daughters? Why only sons? I mean, I think that's an issue that has to be answered in the books, because where are the women? Where are White Walker women? Also, the physical description between Ramsay and Craster, and that's a fantastic parallel. I never thought about it. Now, when you said it, it's the physical description of them is mostly connected to people with lower IQ and with people who are brutes, not developed as they should, so they are more brutal and more of a psychopath side, which we know is true. So, what? Oh yes, we only know about Craster giving up his sons north of the wall, but you would assume, since the wildlings there are so many of them, of course it's a nation, in a way, so we may assume that he was not the only one who was giving up babies. Why would he be the only person with this knowledge? I mean, somebody at some point in time could have done that. So we need an army of White Walkers, and Craster's sons are not enough. So that's my answer. I hope I answered something.
I've looked and I don't see the other screaming. No scream coming in that first scene.
Really?
Yep, I've checked it, and unless they cut before, but it kind of goes to black and no scream.
I'm sorry, I'm
Oh,
really
you
not
know what?
good with the
Maybe it
show.
is the season. Sorry, maybe it's the season when there's this White Walker on a horse, and there's an army of whites, and Sam is hiding, and this White Walker is holding this spear, and he screams. Right?
It's possible. Yeah, that one is.
Okay, so I mixed it up.
But to be fair, if the Night's King story is true and he married another that is a woman, by the way, that's the first mention of a female other, I don't think they would have just been doing signs for the entire marriage. I mean, you actually kind of need to talk about something.
Well, it could be some sort of Pocahontas story, you know, like.
Well,
And that they learned each other's language. Yeah, can you imagine the Night Queen as Pocahontas?
yeah, I can imagine them fighting. Like, why the fuck did you leave your socks on the floor? God damn it, man! You know, like, clean the fucking room after yourself.
Yeah, so something like that. Yeah. Can I add a little crack?
Sorry, I have to go for a second.
Yes.
It's
No
actually
problem. Can I add? I'm asking our audience. Can I add a little, not a little, slightly off topic, crackpot something about White Tree?
Yes, go ahead. I like crackpot theory.
Oh yeah. Well, you have two. Today you have two crackpots.
The
Next one is the biggest. Okay, it's just that I thought of that because of your video, actually, T-Baby, your, John's dream, and how through ghosts he sees the sapling that Bran is talking to him through, like, grow and change. And so so that got me like my brain wired into thinking about, like, do the werewolves have some kind of magical property where they can sort of change? Okay, and so crackpot time with Anne. So where was it? I lost my notes. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I want to give a final look at the werewolf in White Tree that we see twice. First in A Clash of Kings through the eyes of Jon, and then in Storm of Swords through Sam. And let's listen to a little bit of both description. So first, Jon, the size did not disturb him so much as the face, the mouth especially. No simple carved slash, but a jagged hollow large enough to swallow a sheep. That's what I read before. And then a little bit later, look at that face. Small wonder men feared them when they first came to Westeros. And then let's listen to what Sam has to say about it. Sam the Craven. The face carved into the bone-pale trunk was long and sad. Red tears of dried sap leaked from its eyes. Was that how it looked when we came north? So yeah, Sam is not sure. I agree with that. And although it could be easily attributed to the different POVs, I do believe that the face of the archery has actually changed. I think in between those two passages, if you really read the descriptions, at first it's very like angry, like scary, fierce, and then Sam sees it as being sad. That's what he focuses on. And I think if it was mostly scary, Sam would say, oh, it's scary, like the face frightens me, because Sam is always saying that things are frightening him, and he's not saying that at that point. So I don't know why, and I don't know if it could be because of the attack of the others, could be because the sacrifices have stopped. I have no idea why, but I just have a feeling that the faces of the tree, like the trees, change according to the events.
It possibly does, because even in that dream with John, at first he says the tree's eyes are fierce, and then he says, but they look happy to see me. And then if the way if a green seer can go into a tree, then yeah, I do think the facial expressions would change. So one person would be like, oh, you know, this tree looks like it's trying to get me, and then next thing you know, it looks happy to see. So I guess it depends on who's slipping into the tree.
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree. Like that's your video and that's what you were saying. That made me notice like the different descriptions of that tree.
Actually, one of the things that I really want to see in future books is Bran communicating with the rest of his siblings, the Wirewood tree, and for them to notice that it's Bran because they actually see Bran's face in the Wirewood. Like, I want to see that visual of Bran's face on the Wirewood tree and just him freaking the hell out of one of his siblings. Just them looking at like, what the...
I want it to be Arya, because I think also in the books, like I think she's having a wolf dream and she knows the tree is watching her. So they do sense these things, but I agree with you that I would love to see like the TV show do some type of graphics with the with Bran's face in the actual tree scaring them. But it would have to be Arya just because she's all fearless and blah blah blah.
Actually, I would like it to be Sansa, because Sansa is the one that I felt that is the one who's most disconnected from the North. She was also the one who looked exactly like Caitlyn and had very little of the Stark. She always wanted to go south. She lost her direwolf. Like Arya, it does not have Nymeria, but Nymeria is still alive and she still has the connection. She always wanted to go to the south. She was the one who was less Stark. She was also the one who followed more the faith of the Sevens, the same as Catelyn. So I think that it would be nice for Bran to help Sansa go back to connect to the old religion, to the North, to the Starks. And, you know, because she didn't believe in all those nonsense. You know, the Southerners are always thinking, oh, those Northerners and their fantasies and their superstitions and whatever. And she believed a lot of that stuff. It wasn't until she realized what sort of hell the South could be that then she wanted to go north.
Yeah, but you also have to take in consideration that, well, you don't have to, but she's losing her identity, and she's like not remembering who she is. She has these wolf dreams, but she doesn't understand, and it could be that Bran's the one that she keeps getting reminders that she is. Like, she gets these hints, but not something direct. I'm sorry, I'm hearing the echo, guys. But not hearing something direct. Hello?
Boss?
Sorry, guys. So, lost my train of thought real quick, but what I was saying is that, to me, it would seem like Arya would need the most because she's the one who's her identity. Like, everything that she's doing is to strip away who she truly is. So, I mean, I could see where Sansa would need that just because she's probably has the most disconnect as far as with the wolves, because her wolf was executed earlier on. But then again, Arya's the one who's truly losing who she is. At least Sansa knows who she is. She's playing a role. Arya, like, the things that are happening to her are making her, like, forget who she truly is. Like, that's the whole thing. She's supposed to be no one, but she can't really be no one.
Yeah, I agree and disagree with that on. I think Arya actually has more of her starkness in her than Sansa does at that point. And and I think I'm sorry, losing my train of thoughts as always. Yes, I think the story of this kid is to like their arc. They have in common is them like discovering their inner starkness and what makes the North the North. And I'm saying discovering because although Ned, we all love Ned, he's wonderful, he's loyal, he's the best dad, he's not a okay, like please, like don't throw stones at me, but he's not a true Stark, if you see what I mean. He's not. Yeah. Oh no, Tinker is about to. Like I can see her like
Wait,
taking a
who's
huge
not a
walk.
true Stark?
Just finish that sentence, and then we'll discuss.
Yeah, definitely. The true Starks are the fierce kings of winter, the savage Northerners, and that's not what Ned is.
There's not only one style
No.
of Stark. They're not all supposed to be, and I actually disagree because part of the Starks is not only wildness but the cold, the ice, and Ned Stark is very much that containment, the ice. Even there's a moment he says that he was angry, but that fury burned cold. That's exactly how it was described. That it froze inside of him. That what more northern can be than that? It was there's like two sides of the North. One that's he was the quiet wolf. Not all wolves are wild and crazy.
Yeah, take Bran. Bran's not crazy and he's
No,
not.
but Bran is magical. Bran. No, oh, sorry. Did I interrupt you, Tinker?
No, no,
T-Baby?
no,
I'm
no, no.
sorry.
What I'm saying, I guess, is that you don't necessarily have to be like wild to have like that wolf blood. Well, not to say like you're not a true Stark because Bran, he's a gentle one, and yet he has all of these northern magical powers. He's just as much, a true Stark than like Arya, who's a wild one.
Oh no, I agree. But like, well, okay, just the fact that. And I'm not saying that to be a Stark you need to be like Brandon Stark wild. Obviously, there are a lot of nuances among the Stark. But Bran rediscovering his starkness is embracing his magical power, like his mystical side. Okay, I don't know. It's like the way I see it, the North and I'm not saying the North is primitive, but the North embraces some very good characteristic about primitive societies that the South has forgotten. And it's bad because since they're forgotten it, they're gonna be all killed by the White Walkers, So there are some like important core values to keep. So for Bran, it's is like magic. I don't know. I on the top of my head, but you see what I mean. Like I'm saying, like when I say like okay, what I'm thinking about like Ned not being a true Stark that makes Tinker so angry. Like I'm thinking like his reaction when he saw the dire wolves and that he was almost going to go along with Theon's suggestion to kill the pups,
But he
the dire
doesn't.
wolves, like the embodiment of Northness, of Starkness. Like, how more Stark can you be than a freaking dire wolf?
But that's because a lot of the things were lost. A lot of the magic was lost. There hasn't been direwolf south of the wall, they say, in God knows how long. And he does not kill the direwolves in the end.
Yes, no, yes, he
Keeps
does
them.
not. Yes, because John, he has a lot of the North in him. I think, that sentence very, like, you have more of the North in you. I think John has more of the North in him than his dad does. But, yeah, no, I'm not. And again, I'm not saying I love Ned. He's my favorite. Like, I downloaded Davos Fingers, like, little song, and I finally, like, the one I took for my ringtone is Ned Stark. I love Ned Stark.
Oh.
He's my, like, I really, really love Ned Stark. It's just, and I'm not saying now, like, when people ask me who's your favorite character, it's true that I don't never think about saying Ned Stark because he's been dead, but that's just because he's been dead for so long. Like, I love Ned. Definitely.
I think it would have been very interesting to see what would have happened if Ned would have had a direwolf as well.
Mm-mm.
because it's kind of affected all of the children, but they were children, so they were growing up, evolving. What would happen to an actual adult who was already formed and he was already so closed and everything? And how would have, because technically, if all of his kids are wargs, it's clearly that they've inherited from him, not from Catelyn, from the Andal from the Riverlands. So it would have been interesting to see Ned with a direwolf inside of King's Landing, because many times it's mentioned how Greywind would know when something was not okay, how he would like stay next to Robb and try to protect him, and he was not a very good politician. That no matter how much you love Ned, everyone can agree on. He sucked at politics. Would it have been different if he had a direwolf that he could sense when people were dodgy? I would have liked to see
I'm not
that.
sure Ned doesn't sense when people are dodgy. He's just
He trusted Littlefinger in the end.
yeah.
Big mistake.
But he sensed he was dodgy. Like he took a gamble. Oh, I'm sorry, Nicolina.
No, to go on, I'm gonna.
Oh no, like I said, I have like I see you like with a lot of delay, so it's tough for me if ever I get cut you off. It's because you talking has not arrived to me yet, so I'm really really sorry.
No, I didn't say anything. I was just nodding.
What was it? Yeah, no, I mean, like he knew Littlefinger was dodgy. He just had to, like take a gamble. And I'm thinking, okay, Ned being so repressed because I'm not again, it's not a criticism. He had to be because of his past and he had good reason, but like Ned is all about like repressing those emotions. I'm repressing. I cannot think of that. Oh no, must not. No, repressing, like because he's doing that so much, would he have been able to like create that link with his direwolf where like that trust bond where you sort of need to let go, you need to abandon yourself at some point to
Well, but that's why it starts as dreams. All of the Stark children start when they're dreaming. You can't have any control when you're asleep. And originally the bond started out of love. The Starks loved their direwolves, they went to sleep and they would dream. And from then the bond would start. And Ned Stark, we've seen that he has a great capability for love. He was even very sad. He didn't want anyone else to kill Lady. If Lady had to die, it would be him who did it. So I can completely see him caring for a direwolf, loving it, and in the night, in his sleep, losing all control. And it would have been. I would have liked to see that. I would have liked to see a direwolf eating Littlefinger's face.
I'm sorry, that's priceless. Can someone draw us a picture of a direwolf eating Littlefinger's face? I want to see that.
With
I really
Ned Stark there.
that. Yes.
May I jump in on something?
Go ahead.
I know that
Oh, yeah.
Ned is not getting the good rep because he didn't have political abilities. But to understand, to know that somebody is a fucking cunt like Littlefinger is, you have to be one to know one. And I'm pretty satisfied how Ned as a person is. He couldn't sense that somebody is a really playing political games because he wasn't that. He really was disappointed in Robert after the rebellion, with all Targaryen children killed by the Mountain and Tywin Lannister and all that shit that went down. So he just went home and continued with his small life. I mean, it was everything that he asked for, just to be. And if that's not Stark, I don't know. We have to define what Stark is. What is a Stark? Okay, you have idea that is a wild thing, and Tinker says it's this shyness or introvert thing. So we need to define what Stark is, and so we can say that, oh, this is a Stark and he's not a Stark. They're all Starks, but presented in a different way. So Bran will have this green sear, but it comes from the other side. It does not come. It's not a Stark trait, the green searing, I think. Robb is a warrior. That's a Stark trait. Rickon is wild. That's a Stark trait. Arya is opinionated, and that's also, all of these things are Stark. So we cannot say that. I mean, everybody loves Starks, because why wouldn't you? That's how Martin wrote it, so we can like them. They're really likable.
They're genuinely good people. Ned was generally a good person.
Yeah, righteous. He was righteous.
Oh yeah,
The first thing you
definitely.
think about him, he was righteous. So he was, and he was respected towards the family, and he knew like he was obeying the rules, and but in all, he was really nice person. You would like to have a coffee with him or beer, talk about it, talk to him. You don't say that for Littlefinger or for anybody else for that matter, right?
No.
So that being said, what were we arguing about? I forgot. Sorry, my room was so dry.
What about Brandon Stark though? I wouldn't consider him like a good person though.
We don't know a lot about him.
Would that really be like something to say this would make you a Stark as well? Because not all the Starks are good people when you kind of think of it. Like even though I really like Arya's not that nice of a person.
Oh no.
He's changing.
Well, but Arya's still a child, a very lost child. You also have to take in account the
Either way, though,
situation.
I'm just saying, if you're just talking about nice, they're also bad kids. They're not, like, all kids aren't nice. That's just, like, based off of your environment. But, I mean, the Starks, I think in general, we just perceive the Starks to be so honorable, but not all the Starks were actually honorable. They weren't all that nice. And the most recent I can think of would be Brandon, because you hear all the tales about him.
Well, but Brandon seemed more rash and foolish than genuinely bad. And no one is really perfect. Sometimes the imperfections of some people are just louder than others.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that in general, not all the Starks are nice.
Because that's impossible. There's no such thing as a perfect family of perfect people.
But I'm not saying that. I'm saying in general, we keep perceiving them to be, oh, they're nice, but not all of them are nice. I'll say majority of them are, but when you really think, like, even though Ned did some things as far as in the war that another side would think, oh, that's not nice, but everyone perceives Ned to really be a nice guy. He wouldn't do half the things Arya's doing right now. He wouldn't do half the things that I think that Brandon did. He's different, but they're not all the same. So not all. Basically, what I'm saying, not all the Starks are nice.
Yeah, but you also have to take.
You get to like them also, especially Ned, because of his parenting skills. So he's really firm, but he loves his children. He's when you see what he's teaching them and how to behave and how to, it's really nice. It's what's considered a normal family. You don't get that from Cersei. The things that she's teaching Joffrey is like they're all enemies. We need to kill them all and shit like that. That's not normal. Or crazy Cat's sister that's breastfeeding her child that when it's like 10 years old and 7. It's when she's like, oh, you're my that's not good parenting. That's you're making a monster out of your child. The only family that's represents a standard of a normal family. There's no normal family, obviously, but like
a loving family.
A loving, yes. Like when he's like Ned, when he's like always playing with Arya or has this. He has a really good connection with children. That's why we relate to them, the Starks, the most. Not because they're like, oh, badass wolves. No, because you as a person and all of us readers find something that's really nice in this fucking world. And you find that in Stark family. I think that's the bottom line. That's why we like them. Because you can like Targaryens, or that they're fucking crazy, like with dragons killing everybody. That's not cool. You don't see that in you don't want that for yourself.
You don't want them as a family, like Viserys.
Yeah, well...
I think Selwyn Tarth is a pretty kick-ass dad.
We got echo.
Oh.
From who?
We should just mute it when we're talking. That's way, but But I'm with you guys because I am Team Stark. Do not get me wrong, because I always cheer for them. Just because I guess I connect with them more because they seem like, oh, they're this big family and they're all bunched together. And even though they might not like each other at times, you could still tell that they would do anything for each other. So I think that's why I like the Starks.
And also, they don't they care for their children and for their family enough that it overcomes other stuff. For example, one of the things that's been mentioned is that Ned Stark is not good at creating alliances from his children and marriages, and it's because I think that he doesn't see his children as just ways to get more power or ways for alliances. Or, like, for example, the Tyrells, they seem to genuinely care about each other, really love each other. Yet they're marrying Marjorie to Joffrey. Like, they're marrying him into the Lannisters. They're sending her into danger. While Ned Stark, the moment that he realizes that something is rotting with the Lannisters, the first thing he thinks is, how in the hell am I going to get my girls out of here? Because he have decided, I'm backing Joffrey, I'm marrying Sansa to Joffrey, and that's it. But he would have married his daughter into a monster, and under the power of that crazy bitch.
You nailed it. Tinker, you nailed it. Because Ned is the only one who's not using his children for fucking legacy. Like Tywin is doing, or Olenna is doing. Oh, we're gonna be better, I don't know, go level up in the aristocrat ladder or something. No, Ned is just like, I want my family to live and have a happy life. That's it. All other people are just using their children for their own, I don't know, wishes to do better in as a family. What's it called, you know, the Tywin speech, it's only the family name remains. Fuck your family name or anything. That's not the point. So that's why we love Starks. And if Martin fucks us up in the end and Starks turn out to be bad guys, I'm gonna go and fucking kill Jar Jar Martin, really.
You're not gonna be the only one. Call me and we'll go together.
Yeah.
We'll plan the murder together.
Yes.
You guys are terrible. I don't even think that Ned really even wanted to marry Sansa to Joffrey. He was kind of forced into that.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Because it was proposed by the king, and Ned is like, okay, Robert said it, he's the fucking king, but you see on his face he doesn't want to do that. Why the fuck would you want to marry anybody to Joffrey? Ugh.
And he didn't even know him that much then. He'd barely even seen Joffrey, but just the fact that someone was forcing an arrangement to his daughter going to King's Landing, he didn't like the idea. Also, Robert was the worst friend in the world. Like, he screwed over Ned. So, like, seriously, I'm like, Ned, I understand you're a good guy, and I understand that you're a loyal guy. But seriously, being loyal doesn't mean that your friends are allowed to screw you every single way that someone can be screwed over. Like, seriously.
Yeah, to be honest, like, Ned had a lot of good traits, but he was not really built for this world based off the politics, because that's what really got him. He just was not built for this world, because even though you're a good warrior, you also have to know how to merge houses, how to politic as far as like who you should align yourself with, who you shouldn't, and I think that's also what got him killed. He did not know how to play this game.
Well, I think
you know what? It's his refusal really to play the game, because he just didn't want to.
Well, I think that he was not ready for the South. I think that the North worked in a different way, and I think the moment that you go down the neck, the rules change. You know, he didn't want to go south. He wanted to stay in his precious north, and the north went very well while Ned was Lord. But the north has different customs, different ways, even different religion, and he was just not ready to the chaos of the south, because we've seen that the south is different. It's not as harsh as the north, which means that they've got more money, but they're more frivolous, and the attorneys and the knights, so there's a lot of more backstabbing, a lot more, you know, scandals and this and that, which the north isn't, because it even snows in summer, so it's harsh. They're not in those type of nonsenses, and just they were not made for the south.
Yeah, like I said, he just was not built to play this game. But then again, he did get fostered down in the Vale. He wasn't really up in the north, so he should have had like some type of idea. Don't you think? Like, he should have had some, because everyone always says, you know, I don't know how to say this and make sense, but
I think he thought he could.
Say that again?
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying that Yeah, he would have done fine.
I said go ahead, finish. Sorry for interrupting you.
I'm saying that he would have done well in the North, but he just was not built to be in the South.
Yeah, it's Robert's fault that he dragged him there. I mean, it was obvious that Stark should remain in the North. That's where they should be. It's their habitat. That's it. The only person we see that is able to adapt is Sansa, actually, in the South. I mean, when she's down there, when we have in the first book, before all the shit happened, she was doing really fine there, because she was always drawn to this extravagant dresses and hairstyles and whatever, this materialistic things. So she and the it's not a ball, what they call, like a dances and shit like that. But all other Starks are there. They're better in North. Okay, Arya. We can argue that Arya is the best at adapting in every fucking situation she's been thrown into. As for Ned, it's all Bobby Baratheon. I fucking hate that guy. Not hate, but he's the most annoying character in the books. I cannot pass that. I want to talk about him.
No,
But
hate is the right
I think
word.
that Ned, yeah. I think Ned thought that he would somehow find a way to get out of the situation, but like, it wasn't just Ned and Robert. There were many factors in the whole story. What was happening behind, like with Tyrion and Cat, then what happened, and then there was Littlefinger's games and plots varies. So it was uncontrollable from Ned's point of view. Even if he had Littlefinger's skills, it would still some shit would happen. He could not control the situation that went down with Joffrey, Arya, and Micah. And that was the thing that left a really big mark on everybody. The happening when they had to kill the direwolves. So yeah, I think that explains the situation.
Yeah, to be fair, he was only one man in King's Landing. He had no friends there except Robert, and Robert didn't care a fuck. He was the one outsider, the one that had not been there for years and didn't know what was going on, while the others had been there for years, had known, they knew who to work with, this and that, and then poor Ned comes there all alone, not knowing what the hell is going on, and he didn't stand a chance.
So if anyone ever had a question about who are the best characters in the series and why is it the Stark, I think we've covered that already.
Yep.
Yep.
Can we move on to the next question, or if we want to add anything, can we add anything on? Do we have anything to add on Craster? Yeah, we were doing Craster, right?
Yep.
I want to add something because I just saw it. I don't know how many minutes ago. Because sorry guys, I want to apologize. My roommate was dead drunk, and then his friend came up to pick him to go somewhere else. I don't know. It was fun here. So somebody mentioned in the comments, and I guess you were talking about that when Anne said about the crackpot theory, about the disease and White Walkers, right? Sorry, because I missed it. Am I right? Can you give me a nod or something?
Cool. I'm giving you an. Yeah, I saw that the White Walker are infected with the disease or something like that.
Okay,
It was a while ago.
Okay, sorry guys, but that happened when I was away. So anyway, I'm gonna do a shameless plug now. I have it's not a theory, it's just some few facts I stumbled upon by accident, and I have a video on it. It's called Hair Ice, so make sure to check that, just to have an idea what it might be. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it's an official theory or whatever. It's just an interesting thing I found on the internet.
Okay, and I will try to add it to the description box. I always say that. I always forget. So, Nico, you remind me. Like you're like, yeah, you've got to add the link to my video to the description box.
Thank you.
No, it's a great video, by the way. And yeah, I saw that Don the Krakenwit had joined us, and well. Hello, Don the Krakenwit. So yeah, no, we have. I mean, I don't want to we always said the Clash of Queens. We wanted to leave room for everyone to express and go off topic, and it's great. It's just that I want to make sure that we're not that because the guys have a video after us that we're not like going to be competing because people might want to watch Sam the Slayer after us, and we still have 3 great questions to go through.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, who wants to start the third question?
I'm gonna read it if you want.
If you want to start it, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but what's the third question? Because you know that I mixed it up with in my file. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Otherwise, I can do it. So, do you think Dany is the Stallion? So, sorry. It's a question by History of Westeros. Hey, Will, I love you guys. Thank you so much for submitting a question. Do you think Dany is the Stallion who mounts the world? And related, how will she win the Dothraki back to her side, or how will she fail to do so? That's the second question where I have 3 pages of notes, so I don't know if someone wants to go before me on that one.
I'll quickly go because, like I said, I don't. Yeah, I'll just go. So as far as Dany being, you said this is the question about Dany mounting the world, right?
Yeah. Do you think Dany is the Stallion who mounts the world, and how will she win the Dothraki back to her side, or how will she fail to do this?
Okay, so I think as far as Dany being the mountain that mounts the world, no. I think she's the mother that births the one that mounts the stallion that mounts the world because she's always being referenced as the mother of dragons and blah blah blah. As far as the second part of that question, I think I cannot think of the guy who's now like the leader of the Dothraki right now, but she said in I think the first book that she was going to burn, like she was going to make sure that this guy was going to beg for mercy before she killed him.
It's either Calpono or Cal Jacko. And
Yeah.
I always mix them up. I'm sorry. Bad Dothraki culture. But it's one of those two. They used to be Drogo's blood rider.
Yeah, so the way that I guess, and this is just speculation, is that I see that Dany might win them over by power, by destroying your leader and saying, because didn't she, and I hate this because sometimes I can read the book, one of you guys has an echo. I'm sorry, sorry guys, no, I think it's Nico. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so I think, that Dany, she's going to kill their leader, and I think because Dothraki is like they follow off of power. Not it's a different type of code that they live by. So if you see this dragon queen who's roasting your leaders, I think they're going to end up coming to her side. I don't think they're going to be submissive right away, but I think it's going to be that she has to conquer them. She can't liberate Dothraki. She has to conquer them, and I think that's the way that she's going to go about it. But I know you ladies are going to have tons of notes, so I'll let you guys go.
Okay, who's going to go first?
Go ahead, Nico.
Okay, so Stallion who mounts the world. When you say Stallion, Stallion is a male horse, right? But what's also interesting about stallions is that what it says on Wikipedia is that their temperament varies widely based on genetics and training. If we can say something about Valyrians or Targaryens in general, it's genetics. They are
amazing,
constantly doing genetics things, and their temperament depends on it. We know that every time a Targ is born, a god flips a coin, right? So why not? Why shouldn't she be? Why does it have to be a man? I mean, she has a fucking dragon. I mean, yeah, she has 3 of them. She gotta ride Drogon all the time. So I think she might be. Why not? I'm on that bandwagon. If I'm proved wrong, then what the hell? But I think it's okay to believe that she definitely is. I mean, it's already been done. She already been riding the most powerful weapon of destruction in Planetos. Now for the second part, the second question is how will she win the Dothraki back to her side, or how will she fail to do this? I agree with what T Baby said. It has to be power or violence, because they are not good at negotiating things. They're not that type of culture. So I think they're gonna, because you know that there was a leak of this actor who was casted as one of the Dothraki lords or whatever. He posted a picture on Instagram with coffee and his script, and people managed to read somehow that I don't know how, but they managed to do that. So one of the things is like they're circling Dany and they're pinching her or something like that. It's like, look at her, she's so, I bet that she's pink when we pinch her or something like that. So they're gonna try to bully her or probably rape her or something, but she has Drogon, so she will have to win them with Drogon, definitely. How else? And I don't think it will require so much time in this season, because it's just one episode. She's done. I mean, she's gonna do the Dracarys thing again. That's it.
Okay, I have a mixed answer. Hey, first off, can I make a quick, totally off-topic announcement, but really quick? We have 3 new subscribers to the Hyped Watch. I want to say hi to Iron Throne, to Hiking Through with Steffi, and to Alicia Kingston, and thank you for subscribing. Like I said again, if others have subscribed, then it's only the fault of my email who has not notified me yet. It's not that I purposely forget about you. So, can I go with my really, really, really long answer? It's very crackpotty, and it will blow your mind. Okay, so the Stallion, what is the Stallion who mounts the world? Maybe we should ask myself first. So the first time we hear of it in Game of Thrones, Dany 5, when pregnant with Drogo's baby, she's introduced to the crones of Ace Dothrak and has to eat the raw stallion heart. Okay, so the Stallion who mounts the world is a Dothraki prophesied savior, and it is through Jorah that we actually get the first real explanation of the prophecy, because Dany is a little confused and doesn't really know what that means. That her baby has been named the Stallion who mounts the world. So he says, the Stallion is the Khal of Khals, promised in ancient prophecy child. He will unite the Dothraki into a single Khalasar and ride to the end of the earth, or so it was promised. All the people of the world will be his herd. So the first characteristic of the Stallion who mounts the world is to be unifying figure, and here we can see similarities, as you girls have mentioned, of Dany's Misa figure, where she's uniting all of the former slaves who decide to follow her. But later she gets more information from Drogo, who says the Stallion who mounts the world has no need of iron chairs. It was prophesied that the Stallion will ride to the ends of the earth, she said. The earth ends at the Black Salt Sea, Drogo answered at once. No horse can cross the poison water. So in this second passage makes it pretty clear that the Stallion who mounts the world is a strictly Essosi figure, and is not necessarily compatible with Westerosi logic and the completion of Dany's story arc. So let's face it, if she stayed in Essos to ultimately become a Dothraki warlord, it would be pretty anticlimactic, and we're not sure that even if they recognize her as their savior figure, they would cross the Poison Sea. Lastly, from Mir Mesdor, the Stallion who mounts the world will burn no cities now. His Khalasar shall trample no nation into dust. So the last characteristic is that the Stallion who mounts the world is a very destructive force. So now that we said that, I think the question, so yes, Dany can, I agree with what you said, girls, like Dany, there's no reason why she couldn't, but I think the question is not so much whether Dany is the Stallion who mounts the world, but rather whether the Dothraki, and most importantly Dany herself, believes that she's the Stallion who mounts the world. And so will she fully embrace her fire and blood heritage over her more pacifying Misa figure? Because that's a choice you'll have to make. If she's like, yeah, I'm the Stallion who mounts the world, I'm the savior of prophecy, it's always something like when books it's a trope in books when a foreign character arrives in a country and the inland inhabitants think he's a god. At first, he's very happy, very proud of it, but then he has to realize that that sort of makes him that he has to lose his free will to be their gods. He's not the god who has the free will. It's actually the people worshiping the god who have the you know anyway. So like that's I think as before we said like an important decision John will have to make. That's something an important decision Dany will have to make. So to answer the second part of the question, I agree with you girls. Yeah, obviously, like the Dothraki only respect Force, and she has Drogon, and she can just like fucking rain fire on them, and that will take the man. But although rather misogynistic society, the Doshkalin hold a very important role for the Dothraki. In the world of Ice and Fire, it says about the Dothrak, this hollow shell of a city is ruled by women, the crones of the Doshkalin, the widows of all Khal. So they do have a very important figure, important role in this society. So to be recognized as a prophetic figure and someone to follow, Dany must not only show the strength, as we've discussed, but first and foremost, she must win the Doshkalin to her side. And so that will bring her to the vision she has in the house of the Undying, I quote, beneath the mother of mountains, a line of naked crones crept from a great lake and knelt shivering before her, their gray heads bowed. So if that vision is to be believed, they will get to see her as an important figure, and that is a necessary thing for her to be recognized as the stallion who mount the world. In the scene where in the first scene where she eats the raw stallion heart, the Doshkalin reminds me a little bit of the three witches in Macbeth. I don't know if you like. Yeah, okay, I see Nicolina totally agreeing. Like okay. I'm sorry again, I'm quoting. Bells rang, a sudden clangor of bronze bird, a deep-throated war horn sounded its long, low note. The old woman began to chant. Underneath their painted leather vests, their withered dugs swayed back and forth, shiny with oil and sweat. The eunuch who served them, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's a very long quote just to prove that it make me think of the witches in Macbeth. So maybe not necessary. I'm sorry. I'll spare you that. Okay, to go back more to the subject, in all of her thoughts, Dany seems to remember of the prediction as a good thing, but maybe we should like just stop for a moment and wonder if it's not a much darker omen. I quote, the old woman trembled and looked at Dany almost as if she were afraid. Remember, like, why would the Doshkalin be afraid about a big Khalasar bringing at them anything they want if that was just a good thing? Like, and we're getting close to crackpot time with Anne. Okay, so let's go back to what the crone prophesied, and I'm going to read. I'm sorry, it's a little bit of a lengthy quote, but it's important for the point I want to make. As swift as the wind he rides, and behind him his Khalasar covers the earth, men without numbers, with arcs shining in their hands like blades of razor grass. Fierce as a storm this prince will be. His enemies will tremble before him, and their wives will weep tears of blood and rend their flesh in grief. The bells in his hair will sing his coming, and the milkmen in the stone tents will fear his name. Okay, so ready for crackpot time with Anne? Yes, okay. Doesn't that, I mean, I read that, and the first thing like was like, oh, Arak like blades of razor grass? Why do they compare Arak with something made out of nature? Always think of Josin's quote, "The land is one," you know. Okay, and then it struck me, doesn't so that description remind you a little bit of The Long Night and the others? Okay, so I'm going to quote some things from The Long Night. So in the Stallion Who Mounts the World, we have the women, the wives will weep tears of blood. Okay, then, okay, that's Olnan talking to Bran. Women smothered their children rather than see them starve, and cried and felt their tears freeze on their cheeks. And then then a little bit later, they swept over old fasts and cities and kingdoms, felled heroes and armies by the score, riding their pale dead horses and leading hosts of the slain. All the swords of men could not stay their advance, and even maiden and suckling babes found no pity in them. Okay, so we have well, we know that they're swift and can move quickly, the White Walkers. We have the Khalasar covers the earth, men without number, compared to the army of the slain, that, as we've seen in the Feast of the First Man, is endless. We have the blades of the Araks, like blades of razor grass, compared to the magical swords of the others. We have the women crying tears of blood or tears that are freezing. We have things about like the milkmen in the stone tents will fear him, so no castle, no house will protect you, compared to they swept over old fast and cities and kingdoms. So I'm pretty much left with that, and I'm saying that, you know, like if you've seen a couple of videos with me, you know I have that big unifying theory that is never really written in my head, but I'm pretty sure that the Stallion Who Mounts the World could just be a Dothraki Night King with just different flavoring. What do you think? I'm done. I'm done talking.
Sorry, so you're just making a parallel between the Dany, or that prophecy that somebody's gonna bring really bad things to everybody, and Long Night, but it's not the same thing, right? That's what you're saying.
No, what I'm saying, okay, I'm always taking all of those prophecies like more metaphorically. But yeah, I'm not talking about Dany. I'm saying like the Stallion Who Mounts the World figure is a lot like Night King. If we see the Night King as the chief of the others figure, they're very similar. I mean, like I believe that we have long nights happening all over the world, not only in Westeros. And yeah, T baby, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was saying Nico to put it on mute because it was an echo. Keep on.
Also, yeah, but I see that. That's a good point, Anne, because what Night King and Dany will represent, they're just dragging people to war, just to fight for something. So in a way, yes, you're right. He's right. It's a really nice parallel. I never thought about it actually before. So, and I love your Macbeth reference. It's perfection. It's perfection. That's it. And also, when you go back to all our mythology, and you see that there are, you know, the mother, the virgin, and the crone. It's always that symbolic. It's the stages in a woman's life. So you're like, Sansa is a maiden, and then you have the witches in West Dothraki. Also, you have and you have Dany in the middle of everything. What is she? She's everything at this point, right? She cannot bear children anymore. She's not a virgin, but she was a virgin. So all these stages in her life, and she needs to pick a side now. So she really needs to get the blessing from Dosh Khaleen, because even though she shows the strength and whatever the fuck to Dothraki people, she still needs a blessing from Doshkalin because that's their religion in a way. That's their way where they get their wisdom. So that's a fucking good point, and I missed that. Thank you, Anne. It was perfection.
Thank you, Nico. Tinker Tea Baby, I'm sorry that was so long and so ranty.
No, I'm curious to hear what Tinker has to say because I think she's kind of been quiet.
No, it's just that you've given me quite a lot to think about now with your parallels with the Night King, and I had not thought about it, and it's interesting, although it's hard for me to see because the way the cultures are so different. You know, in a way they both come from harsh, you know, well, not lands, because the Dothraki don't really come from harsh lands, but they are harsh people. It's strange because the wildlings can be called savages, and the Dothraki can be called savages. But the difference is that the wildlings are savages because they come from very, very, very harsh lands. Like, look at how life north of the wall is. It's very, very hard to survive. And they've had the others, but the Dothraki are savages because they've chosen to stay that way. The Dothraki don't really come from very savage lands. They don't seem to have difficult. They seem to be the one looking for. I see Nico not completely agreeing. But they don't seem to have extreme weather patterns. They don't seem to be starving. They don't seem to have been invaded. They don't seem to do anything except going on hordes and attack everyone who they desire. Yeah. I don't see them really.
No, but like I was saying before, I'm sorry I interrupted you, Tinker. It's just, I'm not sure they're very happy that, I mean, I don't know how to put it. It's just like...
The cultures are so different. I haven't seen them. Maybe I've missed it because I've got to admit that the Dothraki are not my favorite culture in that world. So I've got to say that the Dothraki are not the ones that I know the most. But they don't seem to really. They've got, yes, their prophecy, and yes, they've got their sacred lake and their mountain mother. But they don't seem to really have. You know, like this idea of evil, like the Night's Kings or those kind of old stories. Maybe I've completely missed them, but it's difficult for me to see the parallel, like the idea.
No, I get it, but it's like, okay, maybe what I was trying to. I'm sorry, it's really tough for me to explain. That's why I script so much, guys, because English, when it's not scripted, I have a hard time explaining my thoughts. And I lose my train of thought so quickly. But, okay, imagine the wildling, imagine the Night's King. Okay, imagine the Night's King. There's a prophecy that's saying that the next Night's King, uniting all of the White Walkers, will be born out of a Stark. Imagine that. It's not the case, but imagine that. The Stark it would be a better comparison to what I'm saying about the Dothraki stories. The Stark would both, it would be something that has to come. They believe it will come, and when the omen, when they know it's coming, it's not good, but at the same time, they're part of it. You know, it's like it's more the same. The crones are, like I was saying, the crone looks at Dany almost as she's afraid, so she's not that excited about the Stallion amongst the world, when on paper she should. Because he's just going to be a guy who's going to bring great richness to their culture. So,
but maybe it's because he saw something in Dany and not on the actual stallion that mounts the world.
No, possible, definitely.
And also, this is a very gray world. George has made it very, very clear. But their stories, they tend to written like the stories that they have, like the Night's King is clearly the very, very bad guy, and then the others are clearly the good guys, or at least that's how I read them.
I don't read the Night's King as being the very, very bad guy.
I'm not saying that we do, but that's the image that they have. That's the image that they want to portray in some of their stories.
Yes.
That they want to, they've got their shining knights. Look like Sansa, the naivety that she comes from. It's because she's read many of those stories in which they're the white knights, shining white knights, and then the bad guys. They do have those fantasies the way that we've got our Disney movies. It's very much, but the Dothraki are not. There's no white knights in the Dothraki. There's no good guys there. They're all savages. But
But
I
not,
could.
that's not the way they see themselves. They don't see themselves as savages. They have a very, I mean, elaborate society
But they don't
with.
see each other as good or bad either. They don't try to make stories of good or bad.
Okay, to be like perfectly honest, we don't have that much information. Like we have a
True.
lot more, yeah. So.
That's the problem with Dothraki. A lot of it is speculation because we don't know that much.
Oh no, definitely. I was just, it was just like I said in the introduction. I was really not going that way with my answer. I was just trying to say like the first part, and rereading that quote, and I was like, okay, like blades like grass, and we have that thing, they have that prophecy of the ghost grass, which always made me think of the long night. So something with grass, like the blades like grass, and made me think like I even looked up on Wikipedia like what is that type of grass, and that's how I got thinking, like, and all of a sudden, like, in the text, and maybe, yes, definitely, I said it's crackpot time with Anne. I could be totally, like,
But that's fine.
overreaching it. It's just, like, the narrative purpose for me, okay, and I know it's something that is not going to be clear, but I think there are long nights happening all over the world. With the World of Ice and Fire, gives us some descriptions of very similar events. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I ramble all the time about that, and now I cannot remember the name of the place. But there are, similar stories. The Lion of the Night, like, where is he from? So, well, there's yeah,
What,
Nicolina?
what did you say? What do you want to know?
The place where was the story of the Long Night with the Lion of the Night and the Jade Empress or the Amethyst
Yeti.
Empress? Yeti. Okay, thank you. So we have a Long Night in Yeti. We have in the Dothraki Sea the Ghost Grass, and we have in Sothorios also like stories, and we have Long Night stories. They're very similar. It's like with just different like cultural flavoring the way myths work. We have the story of evil overcoming the earth and destroying everything. And then we have obviously, in the north it's cold and like it's different here and there. And we even have like 1880 that have the 3 forts, right, to protect them.
5.
The 5 forts that are like the wall, yeah.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is that maybe, and maybe I'm overreaching. It's just like trying to. It's not a theory based on purpose. It's more on like I like it jumped at me like if I was reading a poem. Not really like a part of a book, but it's just the Stallion who mounts the world could be maybe a bad, scary thing, and the Dothraki would not really happy, but at the same time, they would be part of his horde, so they would be safe, they would not be destroyed, but they would know that everything else is going to be destroyed.
Yes, I agree with you because you can see that in our world, many cultures have the same stories but told differently. So they're adapted to this cultural ground, this geographical area, whatever. But you like vampire, a lot of nations have the vampire stories, folklore, but it's if you compare them, it's the same thing but told differently. So why not?
Yeah. Succubus and
yes, definitely. Fairies. I mean, I know like folk tales that were told in villages in the mountains in Croatia. They were told to me by my grandmother. And when I was growing up and I was researching about it, I found it's the same thing that you have from Irish culture. But anyway, I agree with you. Yeah, why not? Why not? Plus, what Tinker said about the Dothraki, what she doesn't like probably is that they are really hard to integrate into civilized society in Planetos. They do not want to be integrated. They are too proud for that. They just want to do what they're doing. and in a way they may be compared to gypsies. They're nomads. They're just running around. They don't want to settle down. And we still have this problem in Europe. I don't know if who's aware, but every country has a gypsy population, or we say Roma. And they always live in these societies, and it's really hard to integrate them. So, of course, this is more wild in Martin's books, more connected to the Mongolian, and maybe even I know this Serbian word. What's it called? The Huns. Attila,
I
you know
French
Attila.
word. Yeah.
Attila, the
Attila the Hun.
Yes, Attila the Hun. So yeah, that part of culture. But the only Dothraki that you see outside of tribes is this guy. Is he part of the Golden Company, or the ones that is Westeros with Vargoen? Isn't there one Dothraki guy, right?
Yeah, with Vargo Hot.
Yeah, with the brotherhood.
Brotherhood. I forgot what this sellsword, whatever there.
Yeah, no, it's the
brave.
The second son, no. Sorry.
Brave companions. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's so many things there. But he's the only Dothraki that we know of that crossed the sea. So they're really proud. They don't want to be integrated. They just want to do their own thing, Ramage. But are they? And yes, I did not agree with Tinker that they don't live in a harsh environment. It's harsh environment. Come on, they only eat horse meat.
Oh yeah.
God damn it!
Because they chose. They choose because they've got herds. When he dies, well, the Jorah says like they took all of his herd, so they obviously have more meat. They just prefer. They even have her eat a horse heart.
Fair point.
Because of their religion, which I found that so disgusting. I was so sorry for Dany having to eat an entire horse heart raw.
Yep. Yeah, fair point. But I'm gonna ask you something. What do you think if there was a clan of Dothraki come to Volantis and say, "Hey, we're gonna wanna settle here"? It would be fucking hard to integrate them because
impossible.
Yep. So you see, there are more layers to this problem.
Yeah,
but it's mainly because they wouldn't want to integrate.
Yeah, but do you use how willing anyone is to lose their culture to integrate, to lose themselves? So yes, people, I'm sorry I'm getting all political there, but yes, refugees will do that because otherwise they fucking get killed where they used to live. But the Dothrakis are not getting killed. They just, they get raped.
Everyone else.
And the East, but they're not in such a dire. People will, could fight to really hard to keep their core values, that could prevent them from integrating somewhere else. And so unless you're in a very desperate situation, which the Dothrakis are not in, it's not comfortable, it's not where I would want to live, but it's not desperate, they prefer to keep their values.
Yes, so you see that we have to keep that in mind when it comes to Dany, persuading them to go elsewhere.
I actually really like the idea of Dany being the stallion that mounts the world, mainly because the Dothraki revere riding, and what is more impressive than actually riding a dragon?
Oh yeah.
Like, dragons can eat horses, all like, come on. They describe Ragnar big enough to be able to eat being able to fit an entire horse in its mouth. Also, there was another thing that Aemon, when he's convinced that he has to go to Dany, remember all the time, he's like, she's the prince that was promised. They keep saying prince, thinking that it's a man, because men are the one who are powerful, physically strong in that world. So it's always man, it's always a man, it's always a man. But he says dragons have two genders. And technically speaking, she wouldn't be riding a horse, she would be riding a dragon. Dragon can be either men or women. So technically prince could be said. I really like the idea that everyone's saying princess, 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 men, 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 but instead of being a man, it could be a woman.
Oh no,
and also the Stallion goes to the end of the world, and he says perfectly, like, the ends here. A horse cannot cross the sea. A dragon can. A dragon can go completely across the entire world. The dragon has no limits. The dragon flies. So if someone could literally go from the entire world, it would be Dany. And she's already been going from like the very Dothraki Sea. She's going to be going all the way to Westeros. The only thing she's missing is Ashai. But Ashai, they're the crazy religious with the red priest, and right now the majority, except Melissandre, believe that she is the messenger of R'hllor. So she really could have the whole world following at one point if things go well for her.
No, I agree. I agree. Like I said, like it's very possible that she could be recognized as the Stallion who mounts the world and be a uniting figure. And I think again at some point she will have a dilemma where she will have to decide if that's what she wants, and that will be the interesting thing. And then exploring the consequences of her choice, like fire and blood, or because we can all agree that being the Stallion who mounts the world is being 100% fire and blood.
Yep. Well, they say that in the books, how she's always tried to be different, and how she's reconnect at the very end. She has to reconnect to the Targaryen side of her. And also, at the very end, in the last chapter, it's her talking about how she has to learn how to ride the dragon. She keeps saying that in Valyria they use spells and words and all sorts of things, but she doesn't have any of that. She has to learn the hard way. Just getting on top of that dragon and getting that dragon to do what she wants. Nice hat, Nico.
Oh yeah, Nicolina, do you steal Kraken's Pikachu hat?
Sorry, what?
Oh, Kraken, he has a Pikachu hat, a little bit like that.
Oh
that
no,
he
no,
likes
it's
to.
really cold and I'm on a bike all the time, so I need to have my. But I was outside smoking. Sorry, guys.
Okay, anything to add on that question, or do we want to move on?
I want to say that I'm so honored to be here, part of this group. You ladies are amazing, gorgeous, smart ladies, and thank you for allowing me to be part of this discussion. Also, really big thank you to all of people who are watching. You guys rock, and thank you for the support.
Yes, thank you so much. And I'm sorry, I hope it wasn't too long,
No, you don't. You
No,
have
it
to
was
stop
awesome.
apologizing. You're really good, Anne. Come on. I enjoyed listening to you talk.
Thank you. Yeah, I know I'm too self-conscious. Like when it's hard for me to listen to videos again because I hardly understand what I'm saying in English. Like in my
No.
head, my English sounds great. In my mouth, not so much.
Well, I have an accent, and I really don't care. It's you cannot escape that. It takes a lot of time to and integrating to actually lose the accent.
Come on, the only one who speaks proper English here is T.
Yes, we're international women of mystery.
Yep.
Okay, I think, Tinker, I think you should kick the last question because it's about your fave.
We still have 2 questions.
Yeah, oh no, I'm sorry. Yes. No, I did not forget Thunder's clap question. It's a really great question. I love it. I mean, because in my head we said we would have 4 questions, and then we'll always end up adding one more because we're bad girls. So yes.
So I do love this question, but I've got to admit that for this question, I decided that I was going to do no research. I was going to do simply what I really want to see. Because this is my...
I'm sorry. Nico, put yours on mute because it's like a little...
I absolutely love Arya Stark. She's my favorite character, without a doubt. And this is a question that I've had also since she joined the House of Black and White. And I've come up with 2 answers. 2 answers that I find very interesting for completely different reasons. And I think it's going to be, or I want to see her being sent after Jon or Dany. For very different reasons. Dany, if she actually manages to get her army and get it to Westeros and things start really moving, so I get the idea there's going to be some people that are not going to want her to succeed, especially if she has dragons. We've already seen that there are a lot of people that don't want dragons. They're very powerful. How the hell do you stop an army with dragons? You can't unless you have other dragons. So Dany with the dragons, with everything, and also I see a lot of similarities between Arya and Dany. Both young girls, both in extreme situations, both having to become so strong, both independent, both having so strong opinions. I see a lot of similarities between them, except the fact that, you know, Arya actually has a loving family, but Dany's been alone a long time, and Arya's been alone a long time. Both women who's fought to be powerful just when everything is getting interesting, and I love the idea that Arya might be sent after Dany, and I particularly love the idea that Arya would decide to go and not do it, or find that she likes Dany, or might decide that those dragons, you know, she's always loved Targaryen female warriors on top of dragons. She loved them. She used to tell the story of Visenya and Rhaenys on top of her dragons, and I love that possibility. And two, Jon from her family that is still alive, she is the one that she's the closest to, the one that looked like her. They say that they're the only two Stark lookalikes. Her father's dead. Jon has been said that looks exactly like her father. He's the one who's more, you know, Stark, and there's clearly such a close bond. He's the one who made Needle for her, and Needle is the one thing that she's kept before getting into the House of Black and White. It's the one thing that she could not get rid of. She still has it there hidden somewhere, and it's the one of the links that she's got to who she is. And I think that even if she completely loses herself into the House of Black and White and starts forgetting who she is, I think that Jon is one of the possible people that could bring her back. And I would love to see that conflict of her being sent after Jon without remembering who she is, but then kind of remembering who she is, but having that fight. And I would love to see that. So that is my answer. Not because I have any research, simply pure selfishness of what I want to see.
I muted myself. Tea, baby.
Are we on the Arya question? I'm sorry.
Arya question.
You want me to go before you, or
who do you think Arya will be sent to kill in Westeros, if anyone?
Okay, I think my answer might be. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sweet.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that the question is again by our friends of History of Westeros.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm like doing three things at once right now. As far as Arya being sent to kill someone, if we remember, she broken another rule in the Mercy chapter. So my thing is, I don't know if they can trust her to send her, especially Dany. That would be a huge kill. So I don't see how they can send Dany off. I mean, not Dany, but Arya to kill Dany because she doesn't follow the rules. At this point, I'm not sure if she's going to be on the run or if they're going to punish her, because she's broken a rule where she's killed someone she knows, like she knows them. And if you think about it, it seems like based on the text in the books that's like a big rule. When she gets on the Titan's daughter to go out there to the House of Black and White, they're all trying to get her to remember the name. Like they're going out of their way. And I think this is a huge rule that she broke. The other one, I think she just killed someone that she wasn't supposed to kill because they didn't ask her to. This one, you know the name, so you broke it twice. So I don't know if this is, you know what, Arya, you really messed up this time, and there are going to be even heavier consequences. So is she going to be on the run? I just don't see how they can say, okay, you broke this huge rule. We're going to send you off, not just even if it was Dany, but anyone. Why would they trust her to kill someone? But then my thought went to who has enough money to pay the Faceless Men to get them to get someone to kill someone. Because remember, Littlefinger said just to kill a merchant, it would take you have to pay for a lot of sellswords to kill just a merchant They said, let alone, I don't know how much they would ask for a princess. And they were talking about Dany. So even if someone was to have enough money in Westeros to get someone killed, it goes back to, would you trust someone who's broken this golden rule to capture someone who's a princess that he says this is going to cost a lot of money? I don't know if maybe she will eventually, because they do seem to want, they have an interest in Arya. There is something special in Arya that I do believe they see. However, I'm thinking Arya's in trouble and really in danger because she's broken this huge rule with the faceless men, and I don't know if they're going to be, oh, well, let's just, take her mouth for her hands and let her learn a lesson and then try to do, I don't know what's going to happen. So in
But
my
they don't
opinion,
know.
say that again.
They don't know that she's killed someone.
Right, but she's in that chapter. She says, she's saying, like, I need to go because I can't use this face anymore. She knows she's in trouble.
Maybe we should say, I'm sorry to interrupt, but maybe we should say spoiler. Just saying that this question, because it will contain the spoiler from the Mercy chapter in the Winds of Winter, and sorry if anyone did not want to be spoiled on the Winds of Winter, we always do that. We're always spoiler all and beyond. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, fuck it, y'all. I'm sorry, but
Oh, no, go ahead. It was
go
just
that far, but whatever I say, I'm just going to assume you read everything. So if you don't want to hear what I have to say just because of spoilers, just mute me until you stop seeing my face. But anyway, I just think that it would be cool to see her interact with Dany. And I'm not sure that that won't happen, but I just think that that's crazy for them to ignore her, for her to break the rule twice. The first time was because they said it's not for you to judge who's supposed to die and who's not. That was the lesson she had to learn and everything. She still hasn't learned that lesson because she's judging and being the judgment, casting judgment and punishment. And then she's just disregarding what they're saying. So Arya, the way that I read it, I should say, because it could be interpreted any type of way, but the way that I read it is that Arya is in danger. And so my mind couldn't really process who would they send, because my thing is, if I'm a faithless man and I'm teaching you and you're breaking this golden rule, I'm not sending you because I don't trust you. So I don't know if they're going to be like, hey, we're just going to punish her again, or they're like, we got to let her go. She's just going to do whatever she wants, and that might be her on the run, going back to her pack. Maybe she heads to the Riverlands to get with Nymeria, because she does have these dreams of her, so maybe that's what she'll do, but I don't know if she'll be able, or at least I don't know if she'll still be with the Faceless Men long enough to have another assignment. That's it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. That's why you saw me. I turned into a bobbing dog head. Yeah, exactly my thought. Before, hey, we have one more subscribers that I can see, and I want to, today's shout out day. So shout out to Mo Baby 1975, and thank you for subscribing to the Hype Swap channel. I think now we have 26 subscribers. Can we reach 30? Can we make it happen? Can we have 30 subscribers by the end of this video? I'm counting on you people. Yes. Let's do this. Okay, so yeah, like I'm 100% agreeing with T. I don't think Arya will be sent back to Westeros by the Faceless Man because of everything you said. Mercy chapter, but they would be so stupid to trust her with a mission away without anyone to watch over her, and she might even have to flee back to Westeros. But also, I don't see Arya returning to Westeros without Needle, and that's not a sword that no one, would carry around. And just for Tinker, I took you the Needle quote because I know you love it, and you're gonna cry a little bit. Needle was Robb and Bran and Rickon, her mother and her father, even Sansa. Needle was Winterfell's grey walls and the laughter of its people. Needle was the summer snows, old Nan's stories, the hard tree with its red leaves and the scary face, the warm, earthy smell of the glass gardens, the sound of the north wind rattling the shutters of her room. Needle watched Jon Snow's smile. He used to mess my hair and call me little sister, she remembered. And suddenly there were tears in her eyes. Okay. I'm sorry, I get all emotional. But okay, so I don't think she's being sent back as a faceless man for both reasons. But I said, okay, let's roll with it. Let's see. So she's not going anywhere without Needle. So I was starting to think that the only way she could be sent somewhere by the faceless man with Needle would be if she were to be sent to Westeros as Arya Stark. Pam, pam, pam. So, which, like, again, like I'm still, rolling with it. I still think it's a very sensitive mission to give to a rogue girl. But, so I don't think they would, take that gamble. But still, that, so...
But they could use Arya Stark. Arya Stark can get into a lot of places that a faceless man can't, because just by the fact of who she is.
Definitely. So that's what I was thinking. But I I still lean more towards the fact that they don't trust her and that they want to get rid of her. But
I don't completely agree. But those were just my dream.
Oh no, definitely. So okay, and okay, another thing like that. Okay, thinking of that Inception made me think of. So it would be no one formerly known as Arya passing as Arya, but deep down knowing that she's no one. That is reminiscent of Ramsay asking Rick to act as Theon Greyjoy when he's sent to negotiate with the Ironborn. The only difference, is that Ramsay, he was very confident that he had shattered Theon's identity for good, when the faceless men probably don't trust Arya to be no one. But just to roll with the idea, so she's sent as Arya Stark. So I assume she will be sent to kill a Northerner because that's where she would have the most access. And okay, since we know the Iron Bank backs up Stannis, and I think there's a strong connection between the House of Black and White and the Iron Bank, my idea is that they could send her to kill, a Bolton in Winterfell because they're Stannis' enemy. If the Iron Man wants their money back, they need Stannis to win, so they need to kill their enemy. So okay, she's sent to Winterfell, but no, okay, I'm sorry. I'm losing my mind.
No, go ahead. I'm really loving where this is going. Arya killing Boltons.
Yes, I know you do. So just roll the idea. In that case, she would probably be sent to kill a Northerner. Since we know I said that already. Lost my notes.
Ramsay.
Yeah, the Bolton are his biggest enemy. Okay, my best guess would not be Ramsay. It would be that she would be sent to kill Roose Bolton. Ramsay is in the middle of a battle right now. It would be pretty dangerous. Like, what would Arya Stark be doing in the middle of the battle? Whereas Roose Bolton, he fled Winterfell with, and we assume that he went back to the Dreadfort. So there could be a scenario where, like, Arya, like fake Arya, probably people know that fake Arya has escaped. But so real Arya would show up at the Dreadfort, making up a story like, oh yeah, he had to escape because it was getting too dangerous. We were surrounded by Stannis, blah blah blah, and bam, she kills Roose. And that also ties to, because to me, like you think she should kill Bolton, like I think she should decimate the phrase. Not she should, but she will.
Should.
And so should. Okay, should. And so was with Roose, fat Walder Frey. Very triggering. That's gonna bring back all those Red Wedding memories, and that could be like that could be her way to the Riverlands, to the Twins, and to like decimating Walder Frey. And I'm done.
I just have to say real quick, I love how Tinker gets so excited when you hear about murderers for the Boltons, and she's like, yeah, yeah. He's so creepy sometimes.
Oh, but she's so cute, being so creepy.
It's like, don't you know? I don't know if you guys have cats, but you know how if you have a cat and you pet them, they're all nice, but then like 1 second they just ready to bite your hand and nibble on you, like they play fight. That's Tinker. She's like, no, peace, love, and then it's like she's got that Arya in her.
Yeah, definitely, I agree.
She's my favorite character. I love her.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to jump in that, but
Oh,
that's
no,
like,
no, go ahead. It was just, I was, I was done. I was very happy. I knew, like, Tinker would love it. And now I want to know what Nicolene has to say because we have not heard her.
yeah, before you go,
Can you hear me?
I think that it would be awesome if she gets the pack to kill the Boltons. That's my like kill, like for her to have that great wolf pack. Just like I think they'll destroy the phrase somehow, but I want them to really get at the Boltons with like Arya just walking in the field and all of these wolves coming up and Roose is just like getting crazy and
Yeah, or Ramsay. No, Ramsay. Who said
Ramsay,
that?
because of the dogs that he uses to hunt down the woman.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
and I
that
want her to flay Ramsay.
poetic justice.
And then take his face.
No, Arya no one should wear that face.
Okay, so first of all, what is the whole idea, the whole agenda of faceless men? So we have to separate their own agenda as a organization and when they are hired to do a job. So which is going to be when it comes to Arya? I cannot put my head around that. But also, it might be their own personal agenda, personal. They're not a person, but you know what I'm saying, their organization itself. Because why did she become part of the whole thing? I mean, if I would, like go to House in Black and White and say, Valar Morghulis, get the fuck out of my property, They lured her there. She's there for a reason. It seems so. Maybe we're all wrong, but it seems that they really wanted her to become part of that. And all the things they're saying to her, telling her, oh, this is the golden rule, as T-Baby says. It's so funny because there's a golden rule of quantum mechanics, and I'm always like chuckling when I hear that. So we only get that from her point of view. Maybe they're lying to her, like, oh, you should not kill somebody, but maybe just feeding her with lies. Who knows? So what is their agenda? Why did they accept her? We all agree that there's something special about Arya, and we think that it's the Stark trait of warging. That's what she cannot escape from. Now, also we have to be careful that Martin is manipulating us. The whole fandom, A Song of Ice and Fire, we are so fucking bloodthirsty, and that's not a good thing. That's Martin manipulating us. We should not feel these things like, oh, I want him to die. It's not a good thing to wish for when you think about it. So, as I said last night with Tony on the board, I don't want Arya to kill anyone. I know this is going to happen eventually, but what this girl misses is her family and the fact that she needs to belong somewhere. She keeps on trying to find these small groups to belong to. Like she was really adapting even in Harrenhal. She had this clique of people, and she wanted to prove herself. She's constantly proving herself. And the needle is the only thing that represents that family. What you read the passage from the book, that's beautiful, and that's exactly what she misses, family. And now to get back on this track, we all think that she will be hired, so either by faceless men agenda or because somebody paid them to do it, so she will be sent to kill somebody. It's really hard to answer that question because we don't know. We have to first answer the question, who hired her, right? Why was she hired? By the faceless men agenda, so we know that they seem to be connected to these dragon eggs and all the things that are happening in Old Town. So why not Dany? Why not Fagan? Why not whoever the fuck? If somebody, that's what main thoughts of everybody is. Also, on the other hand, if somebody else hires faceless men too for assassination, so it might be Cersei, it might be whoever, Tommen, you know, you cannot put your finger. There's so many possibilities. But what we are almost certain is that the Stark in Arya will prevail. She will have to go reunite with Nymeria. She will have to reunite with Sansa at some point. And she will want to revenge herself. I mean, for the Boltons, yeah, it makes sense that she will be the one who will lead the pack, because Nymeria is leading the pack of the wolves. And if you remember, am I right when I say that Nymeria was the one who pulled Caitlyn's body out of the river? That's amazing. So she keeps, trying to reunite. Will she kill Frey? No, I think Frey is going down. Like, we're gonna be pissed off. I had an idea last night that the main Frey guy, the old Frey, late Lord
Walder Frey.
Walder Frey, he's gonna die in sleep or something. So no justice there.
I really hope not.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want him to have a peaceful death.
As
But
for-
that just brings back your point that Martin has us wishing people would die, and that's crazy.
No, Martin wants to piss off the readers. That's it. That's his. That's what he wants us to do, and it is great. That's why we're here. So, will she kill Roose or Ramsay? I don't know. But at one point, she will have the Stark prevail again. I don't necessarily think that she will go to Westeros immediately. We don't know what we can expect in Winds of Winter and what we can expect from the troupe that she's with now, the actors. So she has to learn more. I don't think that she's at the level of. She didn't get the PhD in a way, Faceless Men. She's more at like finishing bachelor's or something. She's not there yet. If you know what I'm saying. So
Yeah, I know. I love you when you say it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. But
It's like in Bachelor, like get off me.
So yeah, but I really love all your ideas. I mean, it's just showing what everybody's like. Oh, Tinker's like, kill the fucking Boltons, and T Baby like, oh, get it. I don't know. Yeah, but with it has to. I cannot. I'm gonna be ambiguous as always because it's really hard to say to this person, but we know it's gonna involve wolves and Needle. That's it. It's going down like that. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. So, and we all hope that she will find her family again and be a normal, happy little girl, and then she will remember where the heart is. That's it.
Oh.
Oh yes.
As long as no more Starks die.
Right, I'm with you on that. I'm so tired of seeing Starks die.
You know Rickon's gonna die. You know Rickon's gone.
Yeah, you heard Tony last night.
Oh no, I didn't hear that on Tony. I'm sorry. I really want to watch your live, but it was really late. I fell asleep like 1/3 of the way after 1 hour, I think, or maybe before. I'm sorry.
No more Starks dying. Why? More than enough Starks have died.
Well, who died?
Rickard and Brandon Stark died horribly. Then Benjen disappeared at the very beginning of the book. Then Ned died. Then Catelyn died. Then Robb died. Then Jon has died. No more Starks dying. Those who haven't died have suffered terribly. Bran nearly died and is now crippled. And Arya, look up all the crap that she's gone through. Poor Sansa, she's been humiliated, she's been beaten, she's been sold off, she's been kidnapped, and she's holded by Creeper's little finger.
I just need them to get back together. Once the Starks get back together, they are going to cause so much havoc. Because I think it goes back to that conversation that Ned had with Arya, and she was like, the lone wolf will die, and that does apply to all of them. that the lone wolf dies, but the pack will go on and survive. And I think that they've been scattered throughout basically from the beginning. And so I think once somehow, I don't know how, but somehow I think they're going to get back together. But it's probably going to be towards like the very end of the book. And I think that's when we'll get that, yes, they're coming back and taking names and stuff. Don't worry, Tink. We're going to get those Boltons.
I'm going to tell you something. There's a commenter here watching us live. His name Tony Toka 302. He says that I'd like to see House Frey extinct. They're going down. There's no doubt about it. But if you remember, like what all the shit they did, and nobody likes them because they don't have the true values of a normal person. Grown with they don't have qualities of, they're not humanity. They're only obsessed about who's gonna be the next Frey ruler of the twins. That's rarely we see maybe one or two Freys that are kind of lovable. So if you know what happened with the Frey pies and Lord Manderley ordering the song of the Red Cook, what's going to happen to Freys? And I'm telling you, it's going down. They're going to do it themselves. Their house is going down. They're going to be extinct. But it's not going to be because of somebody else. They are so bad that they're going to kill each other over
Civil war. Frey civil war.
Not Frey civil war, just intrigues. They're going to, when late Lord Walder Frey dies, they're going to fight each other.
Yeah, that's right. Everyone fighting
like
each other to become the bad guy.
We're not gonna have too many Freys left if all of them are gone. Also, like for Lannisters,
I totally agree with you guys as far as like the civil war between the Freys, because even in the book you see that they're like, well, he's almost gone, and I'm going to be, Lord. And they're like, no, you're like third in line. You can't. So yeah, he's definitely like that glue, and I think we'll get like how it was with the Dance of the Dragons before with the Targaryen Civil War. I think that you're going to have all of these Freys going against each other.
Yep.
It would be awesome that they basically destroy each other from within instead of being normally someone else, which I'm cool with.
It's more of poetic justice than somebody just going in there with like Dany with dragons and burning them. That's why.
Like, we know she's coming with dragons. I want y'all to do some evil stuff within each other, but that's that inner tinker coming out of me.
Yeah, I just kind of always imagined Arya sneaking into the twins, killing Walder Frey, and then little by little killing the ones that are going to be in power and getting others to turn on each other. Like, her not killing everyone, but killing, like, if there's a little fight and one gets on power, then Arya kills him, and then there's another battle between another, then she keep the battle on until there's no one left.
Yeah.
Like her pushing the civil war. That's what I like. But I understand what you mean, Tina, and Nico, and I do believe that's going to happen. But the part of me that hates the phrase would kind of love a little vengeance from the stars.
Don't let yourself be manipulated. That's why we here in the Westworld will go to war. Don't
listen to Nico. No.
I'm such a pacifist. Sorry, guys.
No, it's good. It's good being a pacifist. Vengeance never really works in the real world, which is why I like to indulge in the fantasy world. Because I try really hard to be a pacifist in the real world, which is not easy.
Yeah, that's why I don't like dragons in this story in particular, because they're like fucking drones or something, like killing people. What the fuck?
It's weird because in other stories dragons are not portrayed like they are here. In many stories they're ancient, they can talk, they have wisdom. In others they used to fight against horrible monsters. They're not the same way.
Well, depends on the that like fairy tales arrive from the folklore, and the official fairy tales we get from Disney or shit like that. It's always because shit. I think it's shit. You can have your own opinion, but I think it's just stupid.
No, I agree
Yeah.
200% with you.
Oh,
They've
thank you.
sanitized a lot of the fairy tales, but I've got to
Yes.
admit I still like them.
So there are the fairy tales in their original form. They're fucking scary. I got really nice Grimm tales from Brothers Grimm,
I've got them too.
original from my best friend. She gave it from my one of my birthdays when I was still young. So it's amazing. And like in Slavic mythology, even we have something like dragons, and they're not good. They're definitely not good. I mean, we were used to the Disney picture of the world, everything's so fine, and fairies are fucking scary. Let me tell you that they are fucking scary. It's not like, oh, they're just running around Legolas and being pretty and la 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 la. No, no, you don't want to mess with that. And that's why Martin is sort of different. He actually used that and in this world in his books and reminded people that no, it's not never black and white. Yep. So go, guys, and read the original fairy tales. It's really scary.
Yeah, agreeing with 200% with Nicolina. Yes, I'm sorry, it's in French. So there's a wonderful book by Bruno Bettelheim called Psychoanalysis of Fairy Tales. It has a lot in common with the hero with 1,000 faces. Fairy tales, basically, like any myth, are very scary because they represent not scripted and cannot speak. They represent the very violent unconscious fights. Our fights between ourself and our it and our, I don't know those terms in English, but so yes, we within ourselves we are in constant war for humanity 24/7, and that's what the fairy tales represent. Like the myth, they're actually things that are meant to allow young kids to not become totally bunker and have their mind go through puberty, although it's the worst time for wars in your brain. So yes, yeah, like I'm 200% with you, Nicolina. Like fairy tales are scary, but they're scary for a reason. And sanitizing our world is not helping people. It's just creating future generation of repressed psychopaths.
Yes. Yes. Perfectly said. Perfectly said. Yes. Yes.
I like both. I don't understand. You can have the scary ones and then you can have the bad ones because sometimes only seeing scary, dreadful, pessimistic things is not good either. Sometimes you just need something that is cheery, that is happy, that is sweet and nice.
Yeah, but I would rather have the reality than live in a lie.
No, I see that both are good. You need the reality to teach you, and the sweet is also nice for you in moments in which you are constantly surrounded by bad. If you're constantly reading everything bad, all the bad news, all the bad this, that, and eventually it's just all bad, and you have no energy for anything. It's nice also to have things that are beautiful, sweet, and nice just in moments to just like let go of all that negativity and just say, oh. This is sweet. I like a happy thing.
No, I know, no, and I agree with you. Like, I agree with you, but I think I don't know. Like, yeah, real fairy tale, like real myth, are useful, and I'm not saying Disney. I do like Disney movie. On that, I disagree with Nicolina. I like. Yeah, you're making fun of me. You don't believe I like Disney movie. I can sing the Little Princess, the Little Mermaid right now. I can do it. Don't make me do it. But I would if you insist. But don't make me do it. It's just that it's. Yeah, I love them, but they're so much easier to accept than the real scary things, and they're not useful. That it's not that the fact that they exist that is wrong. Like, yeah, Disney movies are cool. We need sweet things in our life. We need a little bit of cheese or a little bit of chocolate cake. It's just that cheese and chocolate cake will
just by themselves is not good.
Yes, and you will tend to want to eliminate. You could easily never eat veggies and only eat chocolate cake. because it's sweet and it's easy, and
It's
maybe
actually
celery is not, celery is bad.
it's actually a great way that we're talking about food because the next question is about food.
Yes.
Oh.
Before we move on, T-Baby, do you want to add something?
No,
Okay. Sorry, I didn't want to.
you guys are. I'm like now sitting back enjoying this convo. Yeah, definitely.
You're in the chat. You're running the chat.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, yeah.
She always did. She's the queen of chat. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not good with the live chat.
I like
Neither am I.
interacting with everyone in the chat room. Basically, when we go to a topic, if we're staying on that topic, I'll go in the chat room just to get everyone's thoughts, because we're all having this conversation, even though they're not on video.
Oh yes, we are. And I'm just curious. I had a message. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying I got y'all interacting. So
Yeah, I was just curious. I'm looking at the chat right now. Is there someone named Dadzy? Because we had on a very nice comment from Dadzy on Twitter, but sometimes people don't have the same nicknames on Twitter and on Google Plus. So okay, so I don't know. I'll see if he answers later who Dadzy is. But who was saying that we had really cute accent and that he would want us to read, read stories.
I could do a Russian accent if you want.
Yes, I would like that.
No,
that's
you don't
sexy.
want to do me to do that. That's not
That's very sexy, Nicolina. Nicolina, you don't want to wake the dragon.
Yeah. Oh, I do.
You want to wake the dragon with that Russian accent? Yeah, I think I think Russian accents are very sexy. So.
Yeah, a lot of people tell me that, but I no. So may I have the honor to read the last question?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. So guys, prepare. The last question, asked by Thunderclap, a really active follower. Thank you very much. So the question is, where's the best and worst places to eat in Westeros and Essos? Amazing question. Oh, for me, I know where I don't want to eat in Essos. It's like the Dothraki Sea.
Oh, agreed.
And I think Tinker is with me. No. Well, probably. It depends on your preferences, right?
Yeah.
Like, what I like to eat. I love to eat a lot of meat. Not all kinds of meat, but I really need to have meat meal at least once a day. And I like sauces and really lush things, so probably Salt, Dorne, or Reach, because Reach also has a lot of vegetables and fruits, and I love that. I cannot eat meat without the salad. I need some salad. So I would say, yeah, soups and sauces. I think it's Dorne. It's more like Spain, Italy thing, and they have really nice food.
I said Dorne too, but I said because I like spicy food. So I was like, yeah. And then I'm just weird because most of the time in Westeros, like Martin's describing about them eating pork and all this and pigeons, and I'm like, I'm not eating that. So I think I'm more of a picky eater. So I'm just gonna stick in Dorne and like the Reach. I'm not going down to the north because I don't want to eat all that pork. I'm not going to, like you said, Dothraki because I'm not eating horse. And then I guess my mind went somewhere completely else saying, what if you wanted to sit down and eat? Like, there's not really safe places for women to sit down and eat. Because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh, they might try to rape me somewhere out here because all the women are getting raped. I don't know. I think I might just make my own food and stay in my castle.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that would be, no, I guess my destiny in Westeros I would be raped because I would go try to find a restaurant or just like try to find an online way to get food. That's how I eat, basically.
The Raven.
The ravens, send me the ravens with food.
And then you worry about going somewhere and like, what if you order a pie and you're thinking, oh, you're getting a pigeon pie, but you're getting afraid or something. Like, I don't want to eat human meat. So when you think about, no, I'm gonna make my own food and
Yeah.
Yeah, I pretty much agree, but I do have something to add to that list. Astapur, but all of Slaver's Bay, dog.
Oh yeah.
Not dog. I will not eat. But you know, when Astapur, when the Grand Master, I've forgotten his name because I hate him, was talking to Dany and insulting him, like, give her something to eat. Like, do you have a good dog? Oh, they eat pigs or something. Like, she's like something like, you're eating dog, dude. That's like the delicacy. And I was like, no Slaver's Bay food. No dog for me.
I don't know. I would try. Try.
Also, north of the wall, like, food seems to be quite scarce there.
Yeah.
Very scarce. And I don't think they have spices or all those kind of stuff because they have very little things. So I don't think north of the wall would be my kind of food either. Reach. Dorne depends on how spicy. Well, I could do like Reach, Dornish food one day, one out, because too spicy is a bit too much sometimes.
Yeah, and they seem to be more on the culinary higher level of expertise. But I wouldn't mind eating in the north because I think that's my Slavic pagan blood. I'm used to eating pork, a lot
So
of
do
pork. And I ate pigeons too. It's really nice. Rabbits and things like that. I eat that. So
Pigeons with bacon, surrounded with bacon.
yes. Oh my God.
I love that.
For people who love food, there's this really good movie. I think it won an Oscar as a foreign Oscar movie back in the day. It's called Babette's Feast, and the whole fucking movie she's making. Do you know? And
Yeah.
finally, somebody who knows that movie.
Oh,
God,
that's an amazing movie.
that's an amazing movie. And then she's making these little birds, and it's exactly what Martin is writing. What I called? It's like wild birds.
Mm.
Do you remember that in the movie? And she's like sorting them in the. Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, but I don't know the word in.
Yeah, I don't know the word in English too.
I really don't enjoy movies about making food because then I'm starving. I want to eat the food and then it's just pure torture. Like when I love chocolate, the movie Chocolate, I was like, oh my God, I want chocolate. I need chocolate. I need chocolate. I'm like, it's just painful. It's painful and torture.
Yeah, but I would try. I mean, even like now and in my life, I try all kinds of crap like to eat. I don't like. I really like spicy food, but I don't like curry that much. I'm just fed up with curry because everybody's putting curry into everything. I'm done with it. I declare war on curry. Fuck you, curry.
Hey, can I just give my answers?
Please go ahead.
Yes, okay. So I'm pretty similar, I guess, from your favorite place. Yes, I like spicy food, Dorne. Surprisingly, I was looking at the wonderful website of the Inn at the Crossroads, which I mean, if you really have to check it out if you don't know it, it's they make recipes based on a world of Westeros. Yes.
You are prepared, girl.
Yes. And like, yeah,
I love
that's so cool. So if you ever want to throw like a Game of Thrones party, like that's the place to go.
Oh my God, I didn't know this.
Oh, okay. Remind me to put the link in the description box because me and no memory. So actually, I looked at the meals that they had listed under the North and Winterfell, and there's a lot of oh God, now I didn't write the word and I forgot the word. Well, I think I would like the food in Winterfell. I'm not going to say the North because in the North the food is scarce, but like being a rich lord, I think I would like all the game. Yeah, there's a lot of game, and I like that, and I would be happy. I would also, I think I would be pretty happy if I was just a king living in the Red Keep, because I think that in King's Landing, in the Red Keep, they have all the food they might like. And the last place I was thinking of was Quarth, where they seem to have, like a lot of because of their central trade hub. It's not the Quarth itself, but they seem to have food from all over the place. So maybe there's a huge variety of food you can eat from. And worst place, Dothraki Sea, I agree with you. Marine, I agree with you. That was on my list. Then it's very personal, but I don't really like seafood that much. Like, I don't hate it, but it's not my idea of good food. So I don't think I'd be really happy in Bear Islands or the Three Sisters. And lastly, I think the number one worst place to eat in Westeros is a bowl of brawn from Flea Bottom. Yes, because you really don't know what's in it. It's probably leftover free pies from 2 centuries ago. And yeah, I think in Thunderclap, I had a discussion with him about that. Was talking about like trying to think where people were fed human flesh, like cannibalism, and there was active cannibalism, but there was also like passive one. And yeah, I'm pretty sure there is a lot of dead body meats in the bowl of bronze.
Yes, I'm not eating that. That's my whole thing now when I really think about it. Who's preparing my food? And I'm like, now it's like, do I really want to go to Dorne? Do I really want to go to King's Landing? It's like, because people are crazy in this series, so I wouldn't put it past them that I said something that pissed them off, and then next thing you know, my cousin's in a pie.
Or in Dorne, you could get poisoned.
Yeah, see, exactly. You can't live. Yeah, I'll just prepare my own food. It's like, unless, yeah, that would see that I could not live in this world. I just couldn't, because it's so many. No. Now that I think about it, I'm not eating anywhere.
But who would really want to go to this world to like live? I've seen tons of memes in which they show like an image of like the Lord of the, the world of the Lord of the Rings, the world of Harry Potter, the world of this fantasy, and like, ooh, would love to go, and then an image of Game of Thrones, and like, no, thank you very much.
Yeah, those are good.
Because no one really wants to go to this world, because who the hell will last more than 5 minutes?
Oh, Radio Westeros says they would live in Tarth. Yeah, so, hey, Radio Westeros. I love you guys. Really excited about the 21st. But yeah, Tarth, that's probably very seafoody too, right? So maybe. Yeah.
Yes, I have to declare that my favorite food in the whole world are shrimps. I could eat shrimps every fucking day. It's like everybody knows me. I always go, and I love Chinese food. So every time it's like, oh, we're gonna go to a restaurant, and it's like, don't bring Nico because she's gonna make us go to a Chinese restaurant for shrimps. That's basically it.
I like seafood, so Tarth would be okay for me.
Yeah, seafood definitely. And also, if I would have to live off of what I cook, I would die. Guys,
where do they have cheese? Like, that's the question for
Exactly.
Nicolina. Like, that cheese in the Reach, right?
Yes, of course.
I think Iron Throne is the master of knowing canon food. So if are you still in the chat? Can you tell us if cheese is canon?
The Queen of Thorns asks for cheese when she's talking to Sansa.
Oh, thank you.
You know, when she has the little talk and like she's like asking for cheese. They even did that in the show.
Yeah, I love cheese. I love like camembert, or I love brie. But why I have cheese? It's because that's the only food I almost always keep in my fridge, because I don't cook. I'm a lazy. I don't want to cook. It's such a waste of time for me. So I basically now it's really good here in Germany. I go to Mensa, where I have the full meal for less than €3. Perfection.
Less than €3?
Yes, because Lower Saxony, they're paying for the students. So yeah, that's why it's cheap. We also have free transportation, like buses, trains, in the whole area of Lower Saxony. So perfection. Germany. Yes.
Germany.
Yes. So I'm really good here. When I was living in Padova, I was living off of my roommate's charity, because they would cook something and they would just invite me because they knew that I don't cook. Also, like in the fridge, I always have the smallest shelf, because I usually have coffee in the fridge or juice, and that's it. When I have to cook, I don't cook. I just order food online.
You would not survive in
I would
Westeros.
not survive in Westeros, definitely.
I hate cooking, but I love eating, so I cook.
Oh, no cooking.
I like cooking. As you might have seen, if you follow me on Instagram, shameless plug.
Yeah.
So much pictures of food. I like.
Yes, and in Twitter also.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But that's those are the same pictures, just recycling content. Yeah. And Nicolina, last Sunday, I bought a piece of brie, like.
Oh, yes. Yes, yes,
Oh yeah, you
yes.
see like that size, like a
Yeah.
big piece of brie, and then I had some baguette
Oh
and
my
a little
God.
bit of arugula salad to go with it, and yum 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 yum.
Oh my god. I
Stop
did
it,
that.
sweet, that it's getting late and I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, I know. We're talking about food and we're getting hungry.
Yeah, I only now have mozzarella left in the fridge because I ate all the other cheese. I just keep it because you don't need to cook it, you know. You just can eat it and you're done.
Oh, and Nicolina, is Robert Dusdar your friend you were telling us you were saying
He
hi
he
to?
was my roommate in Padua, yes, so he
Okay.
knows. And he's telling everybody how I burnt water.
I love that story. I want to hear more.
I just burnt, I don't know what happened, but they were making fun of me because I was trying to make soup and I burnt water. I don't know how. I can cook if I really need to, but no, I'm not that good. It's just you have to realize, like my mom, she's really bad cook, but she keeps trying, and it's every time. It's just, sorry, mom, but really, ugh.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
No.
I can cook. I for some reason I don't cook unless something's bothering me, which is weird. Other than that,
Yeah.
figure something out.
I'm really sad that I didn't get to, when I was in Garching, that small town near Munich, in September, I wanted to go to this African restaurant where they serve alligator, zebra, all this crazy thing. Kangaroo, you can eat kangaroo, so I wanted to go there, but I didn't have time, and I'm gonna find a restaurant and try all these kinds of meat. It's gonna be amazing.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah, and snake, I never tried snake. My father
Ooh,
tried
not
snake, and he's, why not?
Because I hate snakes. They're evil, evil creatures, and should all die.
They're not evil, they're
Well,
just
if you
snakes.
eat them, they'll die.
Creepy, crawly, and disgusting. And just no.
Oh my god. Yeah, Radio Westeros keeps sending us smileys like fish, fish, fish. Yeah, I love fish. Fish restaurants. Like
So
fish.
do I. I'm from the coast.
Every time I go back to Serbia, the first thing my husband and I do, we just go to the river, and we order fish stew, like big cauldron of fish stew. That's perfection.
Oh, LT, if you're watching us, hey, we just got a message from LT. No, we did not forget your question, sweetie. It was not, we have your question, it's just we have a lot of questions. I think now we have like over 30 questions in waiting. Okay, admittedly, 25 are from Jerry, but we have a lot of questions. We take all the questions, we put them in a Google document, and we sit them and we select some that we answer. But because we want to have a lot of time for every answer, we cannot answer all the questions in one episode. We would rather have spend a lot of time on each question and have less questions. But I like your question. I think it's who win in a fight between him and the Dragon Knight and sorry, I forgot the other guy.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes.
It's a good question.
Yeah, but like I said, you guys definitely send us questions. Don't let it, just because we didn't pick it now, trust me, we all select one question that we just know we want to talk about, and then if it doesn't make it this one, it'll make the next one. You know,
and don't let Jerry win. Do you want an episode with only Jerry questions?
I love
Don't let that happen. Send us questions.
It can happen. I love Jerry.
And he does give very, very, very good questions.
Yes. Jerry has very, 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 very good questions. But no, I want. next. Oh, okay. Do we have some more? Do we want to talk more about food, or do I do my intro speech with a lot of teasing and things like that?
I
Thank
want
you,
just to
speech.
say, just just a short thing. Robert, if you're watching, thank you for all the food you cooked for me in Padova and in Innsbruck. And also to Julia, if she ever watches this, and Max and Ernesto, thank you so much for feeding me. I know I'm a bitch, but I really am. Nobody wants me in the kitchen, really. So I want to say thank you to Robert, who's in Rome now. Hey, come stai? Hey, che cazzo? Just cursed a bit in Italian. So yeah, thank you for watching and supporting us, Robert from Rome.
Ladies, you have some final words that you want to tell.
Thanks for vibing out with us. This is always fun to do. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation, the questions. Don't forget to subscribe to the Heights Watch channel. All of our channels will probably be in the link below. Check us out. We are all obsessed with Game of Thrones, as you can see. We'll either agree really hardly together or we'll disagree completely together. It's always fun, and like I said, I hope you guys really enjoyed it.
Okay, I don't know if Tinker has anything to add before I do my wrap-up.
Tinker's hungry.
Oh, I think Tinker may be frozen. Okay.
Looks hungry right there, too.
Yeah, she looks cute and hungry and frozen. Okay, so first, I just add a very important message for all of you who are planning on watching Sam the Slayer #2 on JD the Dragon's channel. Well, first, you should, because it's amazing. And secondly, it just informed me that they have also some technical difficulties. I guess it's a bad day for the Hypes Watch. And so they will start not at 7 p.m. as we had announced, but at 9 p.m. Eastern Time tonight. So I assume the link stays the same. Otherwise, we will tweet it, we will Google Plus it, we will let you know. But at 9 p.m. tonight, don't miss Rise of Sam the Slayer Part 2. And you should also, if you haven't, watch Part 1, because it's great. And I have 3 more announcements before we let you go. So we've been telling you about the Hypes Watch YouTube channel. Yes, that is in the description box. Very thorough description box. It's like a warm blanket of information. You can find anything there. I'm sorry. What was I saying? Yes. So on that channel, like currently you're watching a Clash of Queens on my personal channel, which is not really where it should be because it's a group thing. So that's why the next Clash of Queens will take place on December 5th at noon Eastern Time, always, and we'll on the Hypes Watch channel, and we'll be discussing Bran the Time Traveler. Then we'll be talking about Sansa and Tyrion's marriage. Then we'll be talking about famous swords and how they might play a role in the future events. And finally, the symbolism of Saivas, most specifically with Tyrion. But before that, I know you want to subscribe to the Hypes Watch channel because you're excited for that. But before that, can we get a drum roll? On November 20th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, time is subject to change. Feast for Bros #1 is going to happen. Yes, the guys were very jealous of the Clash of Queens and they said that will not stand. We are starting a Feast for Bros and that will be held on the Hypes Watch channel. In this series, James, who is the talk show host, will have prepared 10 questions for the other Hypes Watch members, ranging from A Song of Ice and Fire to Marvel, DC, Walking Dead, Star Wars, anything pop culture related. And then they will open the floor for you to ask them anything live. So it's a lot more like we like to take questions and have time to work on each of them and try to give you like a as thorough as possible answer on each of the questions. Like there, it's much more interactive, so you don't need to like like on the spot. You can ask them a question and they'll answer bam, bam, bam. And I think there could be alcohol and food involved because it's a feast after all. And okay, last announcement. Last but certainly not least, on November 21st at 2 p.m., the Hype Swatch will do its next chapter reread. We will have a closer look at A Dance with Dragon, Davos 4, also known as The North Remembers. With a special guest, like hold your seat, Yolk Boy and Lady Gwen from Radio Westeros.
Woo!
We're so silent clap.
No,
We're so
great.
excited about that.
Great.
Like that's amazing. Also in December we'll read a Bran chapter, and I'm very excited about that because Bran is my favorite. And you can go to the Hype Swatch Google Plus account to vote for your favorite Bran chapter that we should study. There's a list of a couple, and remember, like the first one with Bran's Dream, it's the best. It's my favorite. You should vote for that.
Or get the Bran chapter in Dance of Dragon where he's slipping in the trees. That one too.
That
Yes,
one is
not
very
bad.
good.
Not
Evan?
bad, but the original Dream is better, you know.
Yeah, but then he's slipping in the trees and messing with his dad, and Blood Raven.
Blood Raisin.
Yeah,
Hashtag Blood Raisin.
Blood raisin.
Either way, Brand, I love his chapters, and I just know me and Sweets, because we really like his chapters. We're gonna geek out hard about it. We're gonna bring Tink onto the Brand side so she can love his chapters like us.
Something tells me that in the next book, I'm really gonna start enjoying Bran chapters
Thank you.
because I loved his last chapter. I really liked his last chapter.
See? Just pick it.
Yeah.
A final word, ladies?
I do, because I was gonna say something and then my internet kind of collapsed and I left. Apart from saying thank you to everyone who was watching, and thank you very much for Nico for joining us. I wanted to thank to the two people that helped me be here today. I'm a huge nerd, like many of you may know, and I love Comic-Con. And I got 3 days ago an email saying that the tickets were on sale exactly at the same time that our video was going on. Exactly the same time the videos were going on. So my mom had to coordinate with a friend that is in California, and she is right now in front of her computer online for the tickets. I don't know if she's managed to get them or not, but my mom has spent all the afternoon in front of the computer in Spain trying to get me tickets, trying to coordinate with my friend in English while her English is kind of okay through WhatsApp and Skype and God knows what, so I could do the ticket. So guys, whether you've gotten me the tickets or not, thank you very much. Still have taken an opportunity if it didn't happen, but I really enjoyed myself. So thank you if you ever see this video.
Yay!
I've got the best mom ever.
Yeah, you do, because my mom would not do that. So.
And before we go, so 2 new subscribers for the Hype Swatch. Thank you, Leila J Lovan, the lady who asked the first question that we answered today. Wonderful question. Thank you so much for subscribing. And Lucy M. So thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. We love you. Keep on sending us questions, and I hope you had fun.
Bye!